страждаю на шовковій волі, я полкового знамена, дивлюсь на нього я востаннє, у нез'ясованій журбі, всю кров мою всі скидання, воно вібрало у собі, всю кров мою всі скидання, воно вібрало у собі. Усе, що разом пережито, в обходах вистраждано все. Я знаю, інші гордовито прапороносець понесе. Дивлюсь на нього я востаннє, у нез'ясованій журбі, всю кров мою всі скидання, воно вібрало у собі, всю кров мою всі скидання, воно вібрало у собі. Прийшли окупанти до нас в Україну, форма новенька, воєнні машини, та трохи поплавився їх інвентар. Байрактар, Байрактар. Російські танкісти сховались в кущі, щоб лаптем посьорбати довбані щі, та трохи у чах перегрівся навар. Байрактар, Байрактар. Приперли зі сходу до нас барани для восстановлення
великої страны.
Найкращий пастух баранячих отар. Байрактар, Байрактар. Ніхто води всяке озброєння різне, потужні ракети, машини залізні, у нас на всі доводи є коментар. Байрактар, Байрактар. Вони захопити хотіли нас зразу, а ми зачаїли на орків образу з російських бандитів, робить примар. Байрактар, Байрактар. Російська поліція справи заводить, там пивцю рашистів ніяк не знаходить, хто винен, що в нашому полі глухар. Байрактар, Байрактар. Веде пропаганду кремлівський урод, слова пропаганди ковтає народ, тепер нове слово знає цар.
Байрактар.
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 We're back, baby!
Let's
go! LSA! 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 No one's gonna take this channel down for nothing. The Leaf Spring Army's gonna keep on going! Let's go!
Наші горішеньки, як роса.
back right now, right at this very moment. We are back. We got through the copyright strikes as far as we know, and they've allowed us to return back to streaming and back to video uploads. Let's go! Alright, so with that, welcome back everyone to the day 191 news of the war in Ukraine. I am the Enforcer, and I'm accompanied by Enforcer Matt.
And good evening, everybody. It's Enforcer Matt, and welcome back. We have defeated the ugly copyright strikes, and we are finally back to streaming on day 191.
And of course, we're going to be reporting on the past 24 hours of the war in Ukraine. Sadly, we won't be able to cover the past 2 days because there's just been so much information coming out. Because literally, as soon as we got copyright striked, the counteroffensive had just begun. Gorbachev died, and now there's a whole bunch of other stuff going on. But I'm just glad to be back. Just in case y'all did not know, the whole entire kind of like story, not getting into it too much, is that someone tried to copyright strike us over not even copyrighted material that they did not own, and so they filed legal complaints against us. We tried to counter them. Right now on my account, it still looks like they're standing, but YouTube has now waived the block on us running live streams and videos, and so I'm assuming that those copyright strikes will be lifted soon. So with that, let's go! I'm just happy to be back here again because we literally did not know what to do for the past 2 days. I ran the 30-minute video, which I really enjoyed. It looks like a lot of y'all love too, but I'm just glad to be back on stream, and I'm glad that y'all are all here as well. So with this in mind, let's get right to the news, starting off in Moscow today with the funniest thing that I saw going into the news, which is all the taxis in Moscow were called to the same highway and pretty much got in a massive traffic jam. As you can see in this video, of course, it is fair use. We are news reporting, just saying that right now. You can see all of these freaking taxis on this highway in Moscow. As you can see, that now the police are getting involved because the traffic jam is so bad. Oh my Lord, he goes on forever and ever. It's great to see that whoever did this really had a great sense of humor and is now apparently hacked into one of the taxi services in Russia and has literally called every single taxi in the city into one spot. So I guess you could say they were pranked. Not only that, but I just covered that in the middle of my hype-filled ecstasy. Gorbachev died. We'll be getting that into a second, but before I get there, I have a special announcement to make that I'm so hyped up about just being back that I totally forgot to make this announcement. We have brand new limited edition merch. Yep, that's crazy. You know, right when we got back off these fake copyright strikes, we now have a limited edition merch. That's because on Tuesday, we actually planned to have the stuff dropped then, but due to the copyright strikes, we couldn't drop it. But we now have brand new limited edition merch, which I'd like to show to y'all real quick.
And guess what, folks? It is none other than a honey badger. How ironic is that?
Honey badger. This has an incredibly cool story behind it too. The person who made it, who wants to remain anonymous, their pen name is 6022 times 1023, 1023rd, and they are actually a daughter of one of our viewers on this channel. They were kind enough to draw this up for us and allow us to use it on merchandise. Honestly, at this point, I feel like they are the Betsy Ross of this channel, as I think this honey badger will be around to stay. I think we're actually going to make this a permanent merchandise item, but for now, it is a limited edition run, this specific design. We will most likely be redesigning this once more for our permanent merchandise run, but please make sure to get some of these honey badger shirts, mugs, hoodies, everything to support our channel, and also huge credit for allowing us to use this. I got to thank you so much once again, 6022 by 1023rd, for allowing us to use this. It is an incredible design. I loved it as soon as I saw it, and I hope that you will be able to lay claim that you were pretty much the Betsy Ross of the Lee Spring Army. It's a really neat little design, and I absolutely love it. Honestly, I'm going to be getting some of these for myself. Probably going to get the mug. I'm probably also going to get the poster because the poster's cool. And probably getting a t-shirt. I'm not really a big hoodie person, but I may also get a hoodie as well. And a sticker. Honestly, I'm going to get the whole gambit because this is all just really cool looking and I love it a lot. If y'all don't know, the honey badger is around because Matthew and me loved Stoffel the honey badger. If y'all have ever heard about it, make sure to pull it up on YouTube. Pretty funny. And also,
I'm obsessed with the honey badger too. I like the gun and the animal.
Yeah, and we both think honey badgers are incredibly cool. They're ferocious little creatures, but they're also really cute looking. And for those two reasons, we loved it. And we we actually now have a honey badger as the symbol of the Lee Spring Army. But anyways, getting beyond that, we're not going to talk about this for too long. Although I do have to say thank you so much once again, 6022. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Enforcer. I didn't mean to interrupt you when we were giving credit.
I want to once again thank 6022 by 1023rd so much for giving us this design and allowing us to use it. I honestly think it's the best design that this channel has ever run on merchandise so far, and I'm so proud that talent is in the Lee Spring Army and that y'all, of course, are happy to share it with us. This is incredible stuff, and I absolutely love it. So with that, we're now going to be moving out of merch, and I'm actually going to let Matthew take over for a second.
And also, real quick, folks, I want to also second that. Big thanks to the creator of that artwork. They worked very closely with me to make sure that we had the correct files and things to make sure it came out proper. So big thanks to the artist that created it. Now, I would love to shout out their real name on stream, but of course, we wouldn't want to dox you. But we appreciate you so very much for all your help with that and being so creative. And also, folks, I want to say real quick, thank you to all of you for your support over the last few days. It's been a tough time for me and the Enforcer, and we've had so much support on the Discord and the comments, etc. And it really means a lot to us, and we want to thank you all very much for sticking with us because it's been a very stressful few days. So thank you all so very much. The Lee Spring Army is great.
And also, I would like to add on to that as well that a lot of y'all have sent me personally on Discord loads of support telling me that y'all are with us and that y'all will stick through, and it really did mean a lot to me. If y'all didn't know, the channel means everything to me, and so when it got copyright striked wrongfully twice, the first one I was willing to let go. The second one was completely was just completely malicious because the claimed copyrighted material wasn't even owned by them. And on top of that, we were using it in reporting and for commentary, which makes it fall under fair use. And there was no audio even being played in it. And so they just picked out these things and copyright striked us to try and have our channel deleted just wrongfully. And right now, I hope that YouTube will be repealing those copyright strikes here soon. As far as I know, the restrictions have been lifted, so they may have been. I don't know. But still, it's been something. I was really freaked out for the past 2 days because, you know, for all I knew, everything I had worked up for to get and do was going to be destroyed within a matter of a day by one guy out there who just wanted to see us gone. So I just want to thank every single one of y'all again so much for being here and supporting us and being proud members of this Lee Spring Army, because it's been quite a journey, and this is another story for all of us to share collectively. We've gone through the Great Schism, we've gone through the DDoS attacks and the Russian bot attacks on the stream. We've now been through copyright strikes. Who knows what the future will bring, but I'm glad to know that I'll be able to go through it with all of y'all, you know, supporting me. So with that, thank you all so much once again, and we're now going to return back to the news and continue on our coverage for the night, starting off with some news in Moscow. As I said earlier, Gorbachev died literally as soon as we got our copyright strike. YouTube smacked down a copyright strike on us, and Gorbachev fell over in shock and died. And we can see that they actually had his funeral today in Moscow, and Putin laid a wreath, a bouquet of flowers onto Gorbachev. When you see him walking up right here and now laying down the flowers. And Gorbachev died on August 30th of 2022, literally the day we got the copyright strike. Putin has actually refused to give Gorbachev a state funeral, so this is something else. I'm not really, I guess this is just a funeral, but it's still crazy to think that the guy who, the most famous person to show up in a Pizza Hut ad is now dead. And so with that, that's the end of that video and that segment of news. And once again, I would like to make incredibly clear, in case if there are any audits in the future, this is a news channel, and we report the news and provide commentary on video segments like this. This falls under fair use, according to Title 17 of the U.S. Code, and so for that reason, we can use this without infringing on copyright. Also, we do not play any audio of any videos that have any kind of copyrighted audio in them, and so we, of course, are falling entirely under fair use. Want to make that clear for the future, and also in case if we ever get anything like this happening to us again. With that, we're now going to be moving on into the next clip, where this is just weird, and I need y'all to see this and kind of tell me what's going on, because I have no idea what in the hell he's doing with his legs. Like, look at him. Now, also, I'll have to mute the audio so that way I can read it off to y'all. School children did not even know that there was a Crimean bridge. They thought it was fake. Yes. Yes. They didn't even know that Ukraine and Russia were part of one state. Now, here's the weird part. What in the world is he doing with his legs? What is this? Look at that, Matthew.
That's awkward.
That is awkward. Very odd. Very odd. That's the most...
I wonder if that's a side effect of a medical condition, because it's kind of funny, but at the same time, it's really kind of weird too.
I don't know what it would be, honestly, but it's incredibly weird. And there are videos, of course, we're not showing them on stream due to time reasons, but you can go back way back in the day. Well, not really that long, like 2015, 16, and 17, and you'll see him sitting in a very similar chair at a very similar event, and he's not moving his legs at all in any of those videos, because I've watched a lot of videos on Putin, considering that he's dominated world headlines for years at this point. And so going off of that, and going off of that precedent, there's absolutely no reason his legs are doing this, rather than it may be some kind of medical condition. Maybe it is. We can only hope. With that, we're now moving on into the next bit of news from Moscow, where we can then see a crazy, rambling man. And you're not going to believe who it is. It's the lunatic from the Russian TV show. And so, let me see if I can get the video quality a little bit higher for y'all. Unfortunately, the video quality is low. But I'm going to unmute this because, of course, we're reporting on it. It falls under fair use, and so I can use audio segments, especially since we are reporting and providing commentary on it. So with that, here's the video. I love how he says it's not because we live better than everyone else. And the average Russian family income is like $10,000 US a month. And I know that some people are about to say you can stretch a dollar a lot better in Russia than in the United States. But go to a normal Russian town and tell me that looks like the way Americans live, and then get back with me. So we're going to let the video continue. Highest life expectancy. Average life expectancy by country. We'll put in country because we're not caring about the U.S. states. We're caring about the countries. Life expectancy... List of countries by life expectancy. I don't see Russia up here at the top. Do you, Matthew? Because I don't. Let's go down.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah, let's go down until we can find Russia. Oh, look, the United States is right there at number 46. Well, at least we know that. I'm not seeing Russia yet. Is anyone seeing Russia? I haven't. The People's Republic of China is number 85. Interesting. Let's keep on scrolling. Haven't seen Russia yet. Wow. I haven't seen Russia yet at all. North Korea.
Oh, there it is. 156.
156. Wow. Wow, the North Koreans and the Russians actually do share something in common. They're very close to each other on the list of lowest life expectancies, considering there's only 227 countries on this list, and Russia is number 156. I would say that that's certainly not close to the top. I don't know about y'all. Maybe we could run a poll on that, Matthew, because... my eyes may be mistaken. That's not close to number one, as far as I know. That's about 155 spots away from being number one in life expectancy. Kind of odd that this guy is spreading lies. Kind of odd. I always trusted him as a reliable source of news. Great destiny, yeah, sure.
Мы воюем на стороне добра.
On the side of good. Oh, come on.
Мы встаем и закрываем своими телами детей, которых убивают укронацисты.
I thought the Russians were the one committing the atrocities.
Русский человек всегда готов умереть.
No, they're not. If that higher goal's a dishwasher or some kind of a clothes washer, then yeah, maybe. But no, they're not dying for higher goals.
Не за Макдоналдс. Не за Кентаки.
Oh, Matthew, he just called out the guy from Chernihiv.
Не за
Wait a minute, let me go back.
Не за
Ah,
не
dang
за
it.
Макдоналдс.
That right there, not for
He said
McDonald's.
not for McDonald's.
Yeah, remember that guy in Chernihiv in the interview where he was like, "I'm fighting for McDonald's."
Oh, man.
He called him out directly.
Макдоналдс. Не за Кентаки Фрайд Чикен.
Wait a minute, they
Hey,
translated.
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
he said, "Neta, Kentucky Fried Chicken."
За высшую правду. Мы никогда не знаем, когда Родина скажет «надо». Это зависит от миллиона обстоятельств. Но мы должны быть готовы.
This guy is full of it, and y'all all know it. I don't even have to go through the giant speech. I've already disproven almost everything he said. This guy is a sham, and it's pathetic to see him go around and peddle lies like that all over the place. And so with that, we're now going to be moving to the eastern side of Moscow, where we can see Putin then talking today as well about letting children in Russia learn ballet, because that's incredibly important, right? So let's check this out. And I think you'll be able to see the subtitles in real quick. I'm actually going to adjust my fan behind me because it feels like it's blowing right on my back. So I'm going to be back while this plays.
И качество жизни людей в регионе сразу поменяется, когда есть возможность ребенку повести в музыкальную школу, в школу хореографии, училище, тогда вместе там сходить в театр, послушать или посмотреть балет. Это меняет абсолютно качество жизни. Надеюсь, что мы в ближайшее время это все завершим.
So you see, it's not actually toilets or indoor plumbing or sewage or washing machines or anything like that that improves quality of life. It's children going to ballet, because we all know that makes your life expectancy just grow by leaps and bounds. And honestly, this stuff is insane. This is the kind of stuff that you'd hear Stalin say, just lunacy. So with that, we're now going to be moving on from this little bit of news and on to our final bit, I believe, in Russia for today. Yes, I would be correct. It is the final bit in Russia. Before we move entirely into Ukraine, where we can see that the Russians had a flag day. Now, I do not know if the Russian anthem in this video is copyrighted. And of course, we just got done having massive problems with someone who falsely claimed copyright on our channel, and so I am not even going to try and kind of delve into the territory of is this copyrighted or not anymore, because if it is, we could actually be in a lot of trouble. So with that, here's the video. We can see some Russian cadets, I guess this is their equivalent of the JROTC, raising the flag in front of the school, and if I could play the video, there is a specific version of the Russian anthem playing. They continue to raise the flag. At our school, we actually had a proper flagpole that had I guess you could say a rope that traveled all the way down to the bottom, and you could actually tie it. On this one, it appears that they have a heavy weight on the bottom of the Russian flag, and the rope does not come all the way down to the ground. Oh. So you can kind of see what happened. The kid gets done making the flag get raised. He then goes forward to salute, and the flag falls right behind him and slams down onto the ground. And the United States, because I was in the JROTC,
That's a big deal.
Yeah, that's a big deal in the United States. You cannot let the U.S. flag touch the ground under any circumstances whatsoever. And if it does, it's a huge disgrace and a dishonor, and you have to immediately go and burn the flag in a proper way. There's a whole procedure to burning an American flag properly. You have to cut the star. Well, you have to cut the Union out of the flag, and then you have to go take the red and white stars and go have it burned, usually by the Boy Scouts of America. And then you take pretty much the stars, the Union on the flag, and you fold that up and put it into an enclosed little space. But anyways, getting past...
And also, whoever drops it gets a good cussing.
Yes, you get a great cussing out. You may be in high school. It may be just another class. But the cadre, at least in our program, would come out and cuss you out like a dog if you did something like that. And honestly, at that point, it's kind of deserved. How in the world do you screw that up? But anyways, with that, we're now going to be moving on from that little bit of news. And I guess you could say that's a little ironic. I don't know about y'all, but it does look ironic to me. And so with that, we're now going to be moving on into the next bit of location unknown, well, not location unknown news. We're going to be moving out of Russia and towards Belgorod and covering our last 2 bits of Russian news. And so that we are now in Belgorod, and I have to say the Russians have had some problems with their missiles, and these problems have apparently not subsisted while I've been gone. And we're actually going to pull up this first video real quick to show y'all the best picture possible. But apparently the Russians were trying to fire an S-300 surface-to-air missile system over the city of Belgrade to shoot down a Ukrainian drone or missile that was flying towards the city, and then they ended up hitting Belgrade with their own missile. So here's the first video showing that. We see the S-300 launch. It's now traveling across the city as the air sirens play. And it's kind of flying at a low angle. And then it kind of flies at an incredibly low angle and explodes in a neighborhood. Right there. Wait a minute. Hang on. Let me make sure I can point this out well. It goes right over there. Right there. There it was. There's the flash. Slams right into a neighborhood. Of course, typical Russian weaponry. Now, here's the second film from right below the missile as it flies over someone that's very close to this neighborhood. As you can see, Russian weaponry doesn't really stand up to the test. It doesn't shoot down Ukrainians. It's literally fired from Russia at Russians. And so with that, we're now going to be moving out of Belgorod, and from that little embarrassment for the Russians, I guess they'll say that someone was smoking a cigarette while riding that missile, which is what led to it slamming down into that neighborhood. And we're now going to be moving into Ukraine. But before we get there, we are going to address 3 comments from the live chat. Because one thing that I did see is that while a lot of people did enjoy the video format, which we will probably be experimenting with in the future again, but a lot of people did enjoy the video format, but a lot of people enjoyed the interactivity that these streams had in between me and Matthew and y'all. And so I wanted to make sure to keep that around, and that's why we are doing a live stream. And so with that, we are going to answer 3 questions from the chat. So what do you got, Matthew?
All right, so everybody's putting me through my paces tonight. I'm really having a hard time keeping up tonight, but that is a good problem because we're getting some really good questions here. So first up, we have a $200 super chat from John Dameron, who does not leave a comment, but John is a longtime supporter of the channel. And John, it is good to see you back. It is good for us to be back as well. We've been gone for a few days because of some unfortunate things, as everybody knows by now. So thank you so much, John, for your support. And I'm sure the Enforcer wants to add in a few words as well.
Yes, I would love to thank you so much for the massive support. It means a lot to us in this channel because, of course, it helps us to keep on running. And I'm sure that tonight a lot of y'all are sending in super chats just to show y'all support to the channel after we've been through these trying past few days. And I have to thank you so much for supporting this channel and having our backs through this very tumultuous time, both in this channel's history and by and large through all of y'all's time watching this channel as well. It's not been anything that I enjoyed going through. I was actually pretty freaked out by the whole thing. I was stressed out all day for the 2 days that this had been going on, and it was completely wrongful. And I'm just glad that a lot of people do support us. And so with that, thank you so much once again for the massive support, and thank you for being an Elite Spring Army soldier. And with that, we are on to the next one, and thank you once again.
All right, and moving on to our next one, we have a super chat from, let's see here, trying to get my spot in the spreadsheet again. There we go. BC Skyman, who is another channel legend, who puts in also a $200 super chat and says, "Welcome back. You fixed my super chats. Yeehaw." And that's something good that came out of it, I guess. BC Skyman's super chats got fixed.
And also, thank you so much, BC Skyman, for the generous support. You are always helping out this channel, and that's about the biggest amount of support I think you've ever given us. And I got to thank you so much once again for sticking through with us. It's been incredible. The amount of support that we've seen, all of y'all have been incredible, and I thank you all so much from the bottom of my heart for helping us out just supporting us, like not just helping us out through super chats. Forget the super chats. What I saw over the past 2 days was the most incredible thing. All of y'all were wishing us the best, telling us that y'all were on our side, that y'all back us up, and it was wonderful. I'd never seen anything like that before. And you know, of course, everyone on this channel, you know, of course, y'all subscribe and y'all watch, so y'all gotta like me, sure. But I've never seen that many people come forward to me and say, "I've got your back. We've all got your back. We're all in this together." And it was incredible to see. And I gotta thank you so much, BC Skyman, for being one of those people and for helping us to keep this channel running. And so thank you so much once again, and Slava Ukraini. And with that, we are on to the last question of this segment, if they can even be called questions tonight, but we're on to the last comment of this section, and then we'll be moving on into the next bit of news.
All right, folks, and before I move on to the last one, before I forget, I want to give a big thanks to Operator Starsky and also Funker530 for also supporting us through these trying times as well. I actually popped in on Starsky's stream earlier today to let him know that we were still around and to also show him our support because there is still a war going on. Most importantly, our stream issue is kind of insignificant in the scheme of the war. So big thanks to Operator Starsky and Funker for both of their support.
And I would also like to extend a huge thanks to both of them, both Funker530, actually Ronnie Fit from Funker530. Funker530 is actually a team of multiple veterans from not just the U.S. military, but also the Canadian military, and I have to thank them all so much, specifically Ronnie Fit for his best wishes, and also Operator Starsky as well. And just in case of y'all would like to help out, because as far as I know, technically, although we've had the restrictions lifted, the copyright strikes still are on the dashboard of my channel. And so if y'all could start like a hashtag free enforcer thing or something like that, these copyright strikes are wrongful. They're completely wrongful. One was entirely under the premise of fair use, and on top of that, that person didn't even own the intellectual property or the rights to that video. It was from Telegram, from an entirely different person. And then the other one was actually made by the People's Deputy of Ukraine. And so obviously that's made by the government of Ukraine. How in the world can you put a copyright on that? And so both of them were wrongful. And so far, every time I've sent an appeal to these, YouTube has told me we don't see anything wrong with it. And honestly, I don't know how they could say that, because there is something wrong with it. The guy falsely filed these. And so if y'all could just light up YouTube's board, if y'all could spread the message around, these copyright strikes need to be removed. They're wrong, and I would just be happy to see them gone. Even though we're able to run streams and videos now, it still bugs me that they're there. So with that, I thank you all so much once again for the support, and thank you so much for supporting this channel and also just being around. I got to thank you all so much for being around and supporting this channel. It does mean a lot to both Matthew and me, and I'm glad to know that everyone still enjoys this channel and is still here, and of course focused on the war and focused on what we've been doing. And so with that, we are now going to be moving out of this question segment and into our next segment of news. And so, starting off with our location unknowns, we've had some interesting stuff to show today. For example, a HIMARS firing. Now, as far as I remember, let me... Okay, yep, it does have copyright music. We're going to mute that, but we can see the HIMARS rockets firing off in volley. It looks like 2 HIMARS are behind that tree line and firing off the beautiful HIMARS missiles into the distance. And just look at them go, each one on their way to a Russian target across the border. And as far as we know, the HIMARS have been still doing a lot of work in Ukraine and have been hitting a lot of targets. The United States, of course, supplied an unlimited number of these things. We don't even really have a good idea of how many may be over there. The last time we got a number, it was around 24, but it may have gone up in between that number and now. And it's still impressive to see these things in operation in Ukraine. With that, we're now going to be moving on into the next bit of Location Unknown news, where we can see Ukrainian tank moving in the woods. A rare sighting. We've rarely ever seen Ukrainian tanks in this war until now, and this does tell us that the Ukrainians are advancing. We'll also be covering the southern front here in a second, at least the surface level information without going into any kind of, I guess we could say, battlefield analysis. But we see this tank moving right here. And it also knocked down a tree. Look at that. It looks like a T-84M, which is one of the standard Ukrainian main battle tanks. It's a kind of an upgraded version of a Russian T-80. And it's very interesting to see that the Ukrainians are starting to pull these things out of the woodworks and that they're now being seen on the front lines, which does show that the Ukrainians have definitely taken the offensive in some areas, as tanks are usually only used to support infantry in offensives. You can, of course, use them in defensives as well. We have seen that through the war before. There is a precedent for that. But by and large, I've got to tell you, I've never seen this much video evidence of Ukrainian tanks in action until today. And so with that, we're now moving on into the next bit of Location Unknown news, where we can then see the Ukrainians making some grenades. Okay, we're going to mute that because I just heard music, and I'm scared of music now. But we can see Ukrainian making little bomblets. These will, of course, be used by Ukrainian drones. And it's really interesting to see that it's just kind of like a mom-and-pop shop kind of activity with them making these things. But with that, that's the end of the video, and it's great to see that the Ukrainians are out there and still using their ingenuity and creativity to fight the Russians. With that, we're now on to the next bit of news, where we can see some Ukrainian soldiers joking around. Now, if I remember correctly, it does have copyrighted music, so we're muting that. But you can see this Ukrainian soldier here pretending to take cover and then hanging onto his rifle and joking around a little bit. Then you see the rest of them listening to him, having a good laugh, smoking a cig. And then we can see one guy all the way back there. His name's Kevin. But all in all, they're having a fun time, which is great to see. And it's good to know that the Ukrainians are still out there and still doing what they do. And so with that, we are on to the next bit of Location Unknown news, where we then see a little snap, crackle, and pop. It looks like a APC was trying to transport some mines, according to this caption, and then ran over a mine. This may have been somewhere in the Zaporizhia area, although we could not confirm before stream, and so it was put into the Location Unknowns. But here's the video of that APC turning into a great big ball of fire. Oh my god.
Dang.
God, that was insane. Look at that. I love the guy who yells right before the shockwave gets to him.
Осколки аж видно, как летят, ебать.
Oh, here's the goblin guy.
Осколки аж видно, как летят, ебать. 200 ТМ, короче. Вот такая хуйня.
So that's the end of the video, and it's really interesting to see that the Russians are once again exercising the best when it comes to stupidity and doing things that are not incredibly smart on the field. With that, we're now going to be moving on into the next bit of Location Unknown news, where we can see some Ukrainians having a drink as their tank rests in the field. You see him grabbing the Torborg. I think that may be some kind of a beer, or if we're to go off of Slavic kind of like culture, it would be a kvass.
Тот под танком не отдыхает.
And that's the end of the video, but it's nice to see that the Ukrainians are enjoying a little drink, and it's also pretty interesting to see this guy sleeping under the tank. This is actually pretty normal. This is something that a lot of tank crews do, as far as I know. A lot of American tankers in the field used to do this kind of stuff, and so it's just a tried and true thing. Also, I guess you could equate this to sleeping under the wagon, which is what some people do in reenactments whenever there is a wagon around. I've seen a couple of my friends do it. And so I know that this is tried and true. So it's still interesting to see, and it's good to know that the Ukrainians are enjoying a little brewski out there on the field. With that, we're now on to the next bit of location unknown news, where we can see some close-range shelling. We're not sure who filmed this video or who's firing at who, but this was incredibly close. You hear the shell fire in the distance, and we hear an artillery piece behind the camera firing. And then we just heard a round whistle in almost right onto their position and explode incredibly close. But the crew made it through. Very lucky for this artillery crew. I'm not exactly sure if it was Ukrainian or Russian. I'm assuming it's Ukrainian, and if so, what a lucky break for them. That round almost came right down into their piece and took them all out, but it just missed by a hair, and they all got through it A-okay. And so with that, we're now moving on into our last bit of location unknown news, where we can then see the Russians being hit by artillery. It may have been the artillery that piece was firing. This video has no audio, and we can now see the Russians moving down the street. They all kind of ducked for cover because they thought a shell was flying in. And now they're continuing back down the road. We can see an artillery shell land right on top of most of the unit. And it looks like most of them may have been taken out. Somehow this guy literally ran out of the middle of the explosion and started running away. Don't know how that happened, but I'm sure that the Ukrainians were pretty happy with the results. So with that, that is our last bit of Location Unknown news, and we're now going to be moving out of the Location Unknowns and into Kharkiv to cover the bit of news we have there, where we can see what used to be of the Russians. This apparently used to be a Russian artillery position that the Ukrainians have now wiped out and advanced onto. Now see them inspecting some of the leftover ammo boxes. A lot of them, actually. Jeez. This looks like an Amazon Prime warehouse. So with that, that's the end of the video, and it's nice to see that the Russian positions are being overrun by Ukrainians. And as far as we know, the attack in the Kherson area is not the only attack going on in Ukraine right now. From what we've heard, there are ongoing counterattacks by the Ukrainians in the Kharkiv region, Izium, Bakhmut, Donetsk, and also Kherson as well. It appears that the only part of the front they are not pushing is the southern front near Zaporizhia. So with that, we've now covered the Kharkiv news, and we're going to be moving past Shuiv and Balaklia, where of course there is nothing to report for today. And so we're now finally moving on down to the area of Slovyansk and Seversk. We have not gotten any news from Izium today. We actually had a lot of news. We actually couldn't fit all of it onto stream tonight. But in the Seversk area, we did see that a Ukrainian tank was on the move here down a small dirt road. Once again, suggesting that offensive actions have been undertaken by the Ukrainians, as there really is no purpose for the Ukrainians to use these valuable tanks, because the Ukrainians, of course, unlike the Russians, don't have thousands of the things to just throw into the country. And so it shows that they're starting to pull out some more of their valuable resources to push offensives. We now see that T-84 driving by, and we now see the second one coming up the road. And also, I like that the Ukrainians have done a lot of effort to camouflage their tanks. It looks like they're using some tree limbs, maybe some camo nets as well, which is really high class. Oh, wait a minute, that may actually be a T-64, because a T-80 does not have any kind of road wheels like that. So let me check. Ukrainian tanks. Let's see. Ukrainian tanks and AFVs. We'll actually go down to the list of equipment on Wikipedia. So let's scroll down. Come on, folks. Let's see here. We know where it is. It's all the way down at the bottom, isn't it? Yeah, it's down at the bottom. So let's see. They have a T-64BM Bulat, which is what this is right here. So that is a T-64BM Bulat that we saw driving by, not the T-80, which I believe, we look here, Ukrainians use, no, I'm sorry, T-84. That's what I was mistaking those for earlier. Anyways, with that, we're now going to be moving on and letting this video continue as it drives on down the road and on its way to the front, most likely to push the Russians back. Hopefully, at least. So that's the end of that bit of news, and we're now going to be moving on down out of the Seversk area and to Bakhmut, as we saw some goggle men. Not Google men, but goggle men. Look at these guys.
Wow. Those are some goggles on those guys.
These are some goggles, and I guess you could say they are Googling at something.
Товариш пане Зеленський, Бахмут під нашим контролем. І його буде тяжко взяти. Це тільки дві особи, які держать першу оборону Бахмута. Наступна буде хужа. Сепари, не лізьте, бо буде вам пизда.
I gotta say, I really like this style, and I think that a lot more Ukrainian soldiers ought to pick it up, especially the old antique goggles, right? Well, actually, both of them are old and antique, but these are just incredibly cool. I don't know about you, Matthew, but they look like, they make them look like a bug.
Yes, they're definitely strange design, too. I like the ones on the right better, the more circular ones.
Honestly, that makes that guy look like Woodrow Wilson or something with a helmet on. But honestly, yeah, they were both really cool, and I like it a lot. You know, of course, I'm just kind of kidding. I wouldn't really recommend if it's someone to wear these to the front. But at the same time, they are kind of cool. I bet a lot of y'all can agree with me on that. So with that, we are on to the next bit of news, which is actually out of the, I guess you could say, northern Donetsk area. Right now, we have not heard of the Russians taking any ground, and we don't have any news of the Ukrainians taking any ground anywhere, of course, because there is a media blackout on that kind of information, and we are respecting Ukraine's, I guess you could say, request that we keep Ukrainian force locations completely unknown. We've pretty much accepted that request for the longest time. We actually since day one, and we've never given away the exact location of Ukrainian forces ever on this channel, and we never will. That's a promise that I've made to myself. I've never made it to y'all, but I do believe that this channel, although just being one of many, does have a massive impact on the news and information that can spread to the public, and I want to make sure that we are never the reason that a Ukrainian soldier is killed because someone's loose lips gave away exactly what the Ukrainians were going to do. And so with that, we are now going to be moving out of the northern Donetsk area, and we're going to be moving down to Donetsk itself, and where we can see that apparently a lot of Russians were surrendering today. As we can see here. Unfortunately, I cannot unmute it because there is music playing, but y'all can see some Russians up there, and they're waving a white flag. They're literally doing it the old-fashioned way of pulling out the white towel, hanging it on a stick, and waving it around in the air. Now you see a Ukrainian guy pointing out, he's like, look at all of them. They're surrendering. Look, they're learning. And when you see the guy still waving the white flag, this guy is determined to give up. So that's pretty much the end of this video, and it's great to see that the Russians are actually surrendering and using white flags to do it, and that gives you clear video evidence that the Russians are surrendering in the Donetsk area. Moving on down to Pisky, we actually saw something interesting today, and let me pull up Pisky on Google Maps real quick to show y'all. So, this is what I'm assuming it is now called, if I click on here, the Republic Bridge. And we can see right here that the, I guess you could say, incomplete construction matches up with this one. The Russians, as far as we knew, last time I ran a news stream, were around right here in the fields, right outside of the bridge. Around right here. They have now apparently moved up another couple of hundred yards, and they are now on the bridge and fighting with the Ukrainians there. So it does appear that the Russians are attempting an encirclement of Pisky and trying to cut off the Ukrainian garrison from the E50 road, which is most likely their supply line. So we're now going to adjust those front lines to accurately depict this. We do not know if they've taken the bridge yet, but we do know that they have certainly pushed up to it and are fighting for it as of this moment. Hopefully the Ukrainians can hold, but here's the video. Also, we've got to mute it because there's copyrighted music playing. We now see Ukrainian... Well, we're not really sure whose forces these are, so we're going to hold judgment on that. But we now see forces moving up to the bridge, and it's destroyed segments. We now see some of the soldiers moving forward, kicking up gravel dust as they go. And now getting to the very berm of the bridge. They've now thrown a grenade under the bridge, which then explodes in a couple of seconds right down there. We now see him being handed another one. And throwing it. A little bit closer this time. And so I see a lot of y'all in the live chat, and thank you so much for clarifying this for me real quick. Apparently, these are Russians that we're watching here on film, and the Ukrainians will be on the right side of the screen when they pop up. You now see the Russians standing by, and it appears that there's now a soldier under the bridge, but we're not sure. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Oh my God, Matthew, this is the closest I've ever seen. This is a Ukrainian, and that's a Russian right there.
Wow, that is very close.
That is within yards. You can literally see this. You can literally see the fuse on the grenade pop as the Ukrainian soldier's hand comes off of it, and the grenade flies over this concrete wall. And the Russian soldier watches it fly past him, and it looks like, let's see this again, it almost went on his friend. It was almost about 5 yards off, very close for this Ukrainian to kind of be blindly throwing it. And we now see him throwing another one. The Russian firing over the top, the Ukrainian firing right back at him with his AK. This is the closest I've ever seen a firefight going on. We can now see more Ukrainians under the bridge. And the Ukrainian is pushing him. He's firing straight into the dugout. His friend starts firing at him. He's now gone down to the ground to hide. He's gotten back up. He's firing right back at the Russian again, popping up dirt and smoke everywhere. These are the bravest men I've seen on film. He's now going back under the bridge. The Russian in the rear crater is now covering fire for the one up front. He's now trying to fire over his crater, but with no success, the Ukrainians are now back under the bridge.
That Russian is lucky to be alive right now.
That Russian is lucky to be alive, and what a badass of a man that is, to literally walk right up onto the crater, pretty much, and start firing into it. Now, that takes courage. And this man, if he is seen, I say that the entire Lee Spring Army ought to cite this video and try and get Zelensky to commend this man to have a medal for bravery. In a modern war, just for you, those of y'all to know, the average firefight occurs at a range of 300 to 400 yards. Most of the time, each side will not even really see each other. They'll just be firing in each other's direction. This is the first time on film we've seen a Ukrainian get within 3 yards of a Russian soldier and fire directly at them. For that reason, this man is one of the bravest men I have ever seen in this war, especially on film, and I would commend him for one of the highest medals that the Ukrainian military could ever bestow upon him for showing courage in the face of the enemy. I mean, like, this is something that you would probably get a Silver Star for in the United States. We now see grenades still being lobbed over onto these two Russians, and we can tell that they now see that they're in a bad spot as one of them starts to withdraw further back into another crater. One of the Russians begins to cover fire for the one that's retreating and is firing back down under the bridge. The Ukrainians are still down there, and we know that they're not the kind to give up. And so they're now about to be rounding that corner and trying to give it to the Russians again. Another grenade explodes near the Russians. The Russian soldier up close continues to fire. The Ukrainian begins to fire over the wall back at him. We now see the Ukrainians are stacking up and appearing to continue to lob grenades over at the Russians. Oh, wait a minute. His friend moved out of that crater. I thought that almost got his friend. Now there's 3 Russians there. Wait a minute. What was that? Apparently the guy fired an RPG over the top at the Russians. It looked like it was at a little bit of a high angle, so unfortunately it missed. And now we can see what appears to be artillery coming down on that side of the bridge. Right onto the Russians! Oh, it's Ukrainian artillery. I was scared for a second it was the Russians. But man, it's Ukrainian artillery and it's coming right down onto the Russians. And that's the end of the video, and this is the most insane footage I've seen from this war, and it shows, it encapsulates the bravery of the average Ukrainian soldier in this war and what they're capable of doing. We have never seen anything like this before on film, and I have to say that the man at the beginning of this video that went right up to these Russians inside of their craters, let me see if I can get him on film again. Right here, that Ukrainian should be found and given a medal for what he's done. This was absolutely impressive, and I've never seen anything like this before. And what a return to streaming, to have the fortune of seeing this man, and hopefully we as the Lee Spring Army can have his valor brought up to the Ukrainian military and the government and try and have him commended for what he's done. It was impressive, for sure. And so with that, we're now going to be moving out of the news from around the Pisky area. And of course, we do not know of any Ukrainian advances in the area or any kind of progress. We have heard that the Ukrainians may be committing a counterattack here. We do have evidence of that, of the surrendering Russians, but we don't have any idea of what kind of ground they've taken or the casualties they've inflicted onto the Russians as of this point. We're now going to be moving out of the Donetsk region and down towards the southern front. And before we get to Enerhodar in the Kherson area, we're going to cover this last bit right here, where we can see the Belarusian volunteers firing mortars at the Russians, apparently in honor of one of their fallen. We can hear that there's music in the background, of course, meaning that. We can now see him hanging the mortar round. Now see him dropping the mortar round, and it fires. It looks like a sizable mortar, something like 120 mil, and we can see it now hitting the tree line. They're now firing another round. Man, that thing's got some, I guess you could say a little bit of shock to it as it was vibrating the camera. The next mortar round, and the third mortar round, hitting exactly where the first one hit. And that's the end of the video, and of course, impressive to see that the Belarusian volunteers are continuing on the fight as best as they ever have. And so with that, we're now going to be moving on into the Enerhodar news and also our Southern Front Kherson news. But before we get to either of those two, which are probably the biggest bits of news for the day, and probably what a lot of people have been focusing on, we are now going to address 3 more questions from the live chat, and then we'll be moving on into our final segment of news, which will include the speech from President Zelensky. And so with that, what do we got, Matthew?
All right, folks, and moving into our second to last question segment of the stream, we first have a poll to address, and the question was, do you think Putin has Parkinson's, in reference to the tapping foot video? And it looks like 42% of you said maybe, but not sure about it exactly. 39% said yes, most likely, and 19% said no, he's just nervous about his life. Now, he has much reason to be nervous about his life, because, as we know, he's not a very liked guy anymore, for a very good reason. But anyways, I would tend to go with the yes, most likely option. That certainly seemed really weird, he was tapping his foot like that, and I would have to say it has to be something medical related. It can't just be coincidence, because that was too awkward. But Enforcer, what was your thoughts?
I would honestly have to say it is probably Parkinson's. It wouldn't make any other sense to be something else. And so I'm just kind of leaning more in that category, I guess you could say, is that it's just most likely Parkinson's. There's not really a lot for me to add. There's not really a lot of proof or really a lot to work off of, but I guess with this one, y'all are just going to have to take me at my word, and I'm going to have to say it for the first time. Trust me, bro. He's probably got Parkinson's. And so with that, I hope that addresses the poll. In my opinion, take it with a grain of salt, because that is entirely my opinion. But with that, we're now going to be moving on into the next poll if we have one, and if not, we'll move into the questions.
So for the moment, that is our only poll of the night. And please forgive me, folks. Tonight is very hectic in the chat. Even with slow mode on, it is moving at 100 miles an hour. So sadly, we're not going to have as many polls as we usually have tonight. And also, I'm trying to respond to as many of you as I can as I see the comments rolling in. So please forgive me if I missed your comment.
Also,
but anyways,
real quick,
yes.
Matthew, how many super chats do we have?
Oh, man. So between our live chat questions and super chats, we have about 90.
Oh, my God. Oh, my Lord.
So a crap ton.
Well, everyone, I guess you can kind of get the idea that this is going to extend well into the night. It's going to be a marathon. And I'd have to say this, because I know that some people do not have time to watch these streams in their entirety. I am going to try, if I can. I don't know how much work it will take me to, I guess you could say, chapter these streams so that way you know where the question segments are and you can skip through them and if you're watching them later. And also, I would just highly recommend, if you didn't throw in a question, you know, either a super chat or a live chat question, once we go over President Zelensky's speech, that part of the stream isn't really, you know, if you're just here for the news, worth watching, because we're just going to be answering people's questions at that point. And so honestly, the news segment of the stream is probably about an hour and 20 minutes to an hour and 10 minutes long if you're looking for that. And we'll try and help y'all out as we go along in the future and making sure that y'all, if you're here for the news alone in the future, you will be able to just watch the news. But with that, we are on to the questions.
All right. And first up, we have a $100 super chat from Enforcer for President, who's a longtime channel legend, who says, "Thank the good Lord, the LSA is back. Live streams continued, please."
Hey! Well, the live streams will continue for now. Just to explain kind of what we're thinking about, it's not in stone yet, so just kind of running y'all through the, I guess you could say, the idea. I saw that the video on August 30th that was put up in replacement of the live stream, because we weren't allowed to run one at that time, did incredibly well. It actually has gotten, at this point, 106,000 views, making it our most watched nightly news summary of the past 2 months, which is really crazy when you think about it, 2 months. But anyways, a lot of y'all like that, and we are thinking that if a lot of y'all did enjoy that and it reached a lot more people and the news was able to get around to more, we might try and make a hybrid of some nights will be the video summaries like that one, probably around 30 minutes to 45 minutes long, covering the news for the day. And live streams as well. We're kind of thinking about that right now because it's a compromise in between two sides. I saw that in the poll today. A lot of people did enjoy the idea of the video summaries, but at the same time, I do understand what a lot of other people are saying with the interactivity that these live streams provide. Like, I can look at the chat right now and I can actually respond to y'all in my own voice, and I do like that as well. So we might try and run a little middle ground, or maybe, because this is something else I can do, although it will take a lot of work. I could probably run these streams every night and then also run summary videos as well. And instead of doing like topical stuff in the midday, make those the summary of yesterday's news. I'm kind of trying to figure out how to do it, but we're going to try and get back with y'all on what our final plan will be. But with that, thank you so much once again for the support. And LSA! Also, please hashtag free enforcer. And so with that, thank you so much once again for the support. It's wonderful to know that people do have our backs. And with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you once again.
And of course, folks, you know I'm going to put up a poll to ask that question and get everybody's input on that. So stand by. A poll will be going up in just a moment. But moving on to our next super chat, we have let's see here, a $100 donation from Kaltenberg. Also, a longtime channel legend and supporter who says, "Yeehaw!
Yeehaw!" And thank you so much for the support, Kaltenberg. And thank you so much for just, you know, I'm going to probably say the same thing to a lot of y'all tonight, but thank you for being a dedicated Lee Spring Army soldier. And thank you so much for supporting this channel through this difficult time. It's meant a lot to me that a lot of people have backed us up, and honestly, it kind of makes me emotional. So I'm not going to cover it for too long, but thank you so much once again, Kaltenberg, for being around for such a long time. And with that, we're on to the next one, and thank you once again.
All right, and moving on to our next one, we have let's see here. The spreadsheet is so long, it's tough to get back to the top of it. But anyways, we have a $100 super chat from Michael Kamansky, who says, "You deserve more, guys, always. Pleasure to help. And with that, if we are all being scammed, LSA will find you. All jokes, of course, but let's go."
Well, thank you so much for the support. And also, thank you so much, Michael Kamansky, for helping out this channel and helping us to keep on running. And also being behind us. It does mean a lot to me that a lot of people do enjoy what we do. And I'm glad that a lot of y'all have stood with us during what was entirely two wrongful copyright strikes that will hopefully, if they haven't been cleared up yet, because considering that the punishment's been lifted from us, I'm wondering if the copyright strikes are even still standing, because without the punishment, they're not really there. I mean, like, you know, they're just there on paper, but I still want them removed, because I don't like to think that I'm being that I have that on our YouTube channel for something that we did not do. These copyright strikes were wrongfully claimed. And YouTube needs to look into that and fix that here soon. So with that, thank you so much once again for the support. And I just got to thank you so much, Michael Kamansky, for the kind words as well. And so with that, is that the last question of this segment, Matthew, or do we have one more?
So I think that is actually the last one of the segment.
All right, and so with that, we've now reached the final bit of news in the segment, and we're now going to be moving to Enerhodar, where the news has gotten worse. And y'all wouldn't believe it, but it really has. Starting off, we can see that the UN inspectors did arrive at the Zaporizhzhia power plant around 15 hours ago, at least as far as we could see. Here's the video. We see a Tiger armored car leading them in. We can also see a police car.
Заезжает на территорию АЭС.
And now we can see the UN vehicles following close behind. The United Nations has been trying to get the International Energy Agencies, I believe is the name of the organization, inspectors in to make sure that the plant is safe, operational, and not being used as a base for military operations. Once the inspectors were inside, they then began to look around the power plant for anything that appeared suspicious, and they literally found it right off the bat, as they found military vehicles being stored in one of these storage compartments of one of the reactor bays. So here's the video of the inspector looking in absolute disappointment at what is clearly a violation. And there's the Urals. Right there. The Russians didn't even take the time to move them out. You can see the Z painted onto the canvas on the side, showing that they are being used by the Russian military, and that the Russians are actually using this power plant as a base of operations. They are flagrantly using an incredibly dangerous nuclear power plant as a base to keep their vehicles and their equipment safe. And it's sickening.
That fella might as well just put the clipboard away.
Yeah,
There's going to be so many violations, it's not even funny.
He might as well, honestly. I don't know about y'all. I don't think it really even processes in my head how insane this really is. But the Russians had about 72 hours once these UN inspectors arrived in Ukraine to move this stuff out of the nuclear reactors, because, you know, we all know that the Russians would still be doing this, but at least when the UN inspectors came through, the UN would say, nothing's wrong, the Russians aren't using it for anything. They didn't even do that. They literally kept everything the way it was and let the UN inspectors in and let them see this stuff. It's like they even want to get found, and they even want to be subject to international condemnation. And then finally, at the end of all this, right after the UN inspectors left, although some of them were still here when this happened, the Russians shelled the power plant by air. And Matthew, I don't think you'll believe this, but this actually exploded within what appears to be two of the reactor's housings.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Сука, москали что творят, блин.
We do not know of any damage at this moment, to interrupt this video real quick, was sustained by the nuclear power plant, but considering that a large explosion just rocked in between the containment housings of the nuclear power plant, I would assume that some damage was caused. We're not sure yet, but there are still UN inspectors in that power plant inspecting it as of right now, and as far as we know, the last one will leave within the next 36 hours at this point. And so they are there witnessing what's going on right now.
Ни хрена себе!
That is just so close. Like any miscalculation is going to hit that plant directly.
It is, and one thing that I wonder is that here in the United States, because, you know, the United States is the United States, we build nuclear power plants to certain parameters for safety reasons. For example, considering that we did a lot of research on the specific power plant here in Alabama, the Browns Ferry power plant, which uses 3 General Electric boiling water reactors, has containment walls thick enough that supposedly one cruise missile, could slam into it, and the walls would be able to sustain the shock of the blast without compromising, I guess you could say, the containment structures of the reactors themselves. However, I do not know of any Soviet reactors like the ones used at the Zaporizhzhia power plant were also built to those same safety standards. If we take a look at any pictures that were provided of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, for example, let's see if these will show any pictures. Right here, it actually looks like the top of the reactor containment structures are exposed to the open air. I'm not exactly sure. Once again, I'm not an expert on Soviet nuclear reactor design and technology, but still, it doesn't look like it's as sturdy or as thick a structure as anything the United States would build. And so I don't know if this thing would be able to survive a direct missile hit. Hopefully it would be able to, because it looks like the Russians are going to keep on testing the waters until they eventually hit this thing directly, which, considering that UN inspectors are there right now to witness it, I don't think that will go over all too well with anyone, and it'll be clear that the Russians did commit the attack. That's all the news that we have from the Enerhodar nuclear power plant area, but I'm just happy that finally IAEA inspectors from the United Nations were able to get to the plant and actually see what's going on there to report to the rest of the world once they return back to the West. With that, we're now moving out of Enerhodar and into our last bit of news for the night before we get to the speech from President Zelensky, the Kherson front. Of course, before we start, I would like to make this incredibly clear. I have seen videos today that have disclosed the locations of Ukrainian forces and soldiers in this area, showing exactly where they are and what they're doing. We have completely removed these videos from our news broadcast and will never show them as long as this counterattack is going on and as long as the Ukrainians request that we do not disclose any force locations. So for now, we are going to make sure to limit this news segment due to operational security issues and ensuring that the Ukrainians will have the best hand in fighting against the Russians. However, we do have video evidence from this area of the front showing what's been going on from the Russian perspective or targets that the Ukrainians have hit. And so, starting off tonight's news, a lot of people have been asking, where has it been? It's a craft of legends, a thing of myth. It's had songs sung about it. It's a song that plays in this channel every single night. The Bayraktar is back. And we saw 2 videos of it today striking targets in the Kherson area.
Bayraktar.
Bayraktar. In the first clip, we can see what appears to be a Russian SPG being looked at by a Bayraktar. And we all know, if you're being looked at by a Bayraktar, it is way too late, and you're done for. You see the Bayraktar still looking at the SPGs. It draws in closer.
The music intensifies.
You can just hear the guys outside. Also, by the way, real quick, just wanted to let y'all know, just in case, the Bayraktar version of the song we used was actually made by the Ukrainian government. It was made by soldiers in the military of a military band, and for that reason, government works are copyright free. Anything made by a government employee is of the public domain if it's specifically made for governmental reasons. So it is a copyright free song. And now we can see what appears to be a laser pop up on that SPG. And death is now near. Well, not death. Of course, we can't say that for YouTube reasons. Nap time is near. Any second now. Come on. Ooh!
Dang.
It's gone. It's gone. Well, with that, the Bayraktar is back in business. And it's good to see. And on top of that, it's great to see that we were able to come back just in time to report it. With that, we're now moving on into our next video, which, believe it or not, is another Bayraktar. I don't know how to sing the lyrics. I would, but
Look, our Bayraktar impression is on point. Not really. I'm just playing, folks. It is not, but it's a good attempt.
Anyways, we can see that little laser popping up from the Bayraktar again, and also Z right there. It's Russian. We have confirmation of that in this video. It looks like this Bayraktar is spelling out Morse, saying, "You guys are effed. Give up now." We see the Russians scrambling around down there on the ground. Ooh! Now they're really running. They're going for the 10K. Looks like they took out the first artillery piece of this unit. And now the Bayraktar looks like it may be flying away or turning the camera. We can now see the Bayraktar switch targets to a Euro 4320 that's hidden in a small patch of trees. The Bayraktars have been a godsend for the Ukrainians. These are produced by a Turkish company, and they have been incredibly good at their job. These things actually contributed to the sinking of the Moskva, much like the ferry swordfishes did. Well, actually, I don't know if they were ferry swordfishes. We know that the British had swordfish torpedo planes that were used to sink the Bismarck, and much like those, the Bayraktars also contributed in the same way to the sinking of the Moskva. But here we can see it leveling a Euro 4320, which is, of course, incredible to see. With that, that is the end of the video, and we're now going to be moving on into our next bit of news from the Kherson area, showing a Ukrainian tank traveling around in the countryside. Of course, this does not give away any location, as this is the countryside, and on top of that, I hate to tell y'all, we don't even know if this happened in Kherson. This could be anywhere, but I included it in the Kherson news tonight, so that way we could maybe throw up some Russians who are like, "Quick, Vadim, blow it up," because this isn't even in Kherson, just letting y'all know. Oh! That's music.
Oh no.
Also, I would love y'all to note how beautiful this is. I know it's only in 480, and I'm sorry about that, but this is some beautiful landscape through here. Looks like something from a beautiful painting. And so with that, that's the end of the video. We don't really know if this is from Kherson. We just put it here to put it here. So with that, we have now reached the end of this little video, and of course you can see that no location was given, and we were not geolocating anything. And so with that, we're now going to be moving to Kherson, where we can now see the Russians saying that everything is pizdzie, which means that it's shit. I'm sorry, I don't cuss a lot, but I have to explain what that means. So with that, here's the video.
Как нас разъебали. АГСу пизда. Сортиру пизда. Две БМПшки мы в рот дали. Выебли. Глянь. Дерево нахуй лежит. Такая вот хуйня.
Of course, the Russians leaving trash everywhere they are. And that's the end of the video. And we can see that the Russians apparently are not having a fun time. With that, we're now going to be moving down into Kherson, where we can see another massive fire broke out, apparently from a Ukrainian HIMARS strike, knocking out another ammo depot within the city, and once again, bringing the Russians closer and closer to complete ammo and food depletion. I think the Marlboro man has arrived.
The Russian chain smoker's back at it again.
And with that, that's the end of that video. And to summarize what's going on in Kherson, absolutely nothing is going on there. We have no idea what the Ukrainians are doing. They could be within Crimea right now. They could be holding the front lines as it is. We have no idea. All we can tell y'all is that from what we know, The counterattack is going well. We have heard news and indications, though, that the Russians are starting to throw everything they have into the defense of this region, and the Ukrainians may have fallen into a little bit of a rough spot, but hopefully they can power their way straight through it and continue on with a lightning-fast offensive towards the city. Of course, we have no idea exactly where these Ukrainian forces are, how much progress they've actually made, or anything about them. But of course, as usual, I wish them the best of luck. And one thing I'll have to tell y'all to prepare y'all for this mentally is that offensive actions always incur a higher casualty rate than defensive actions. That is just the rule of war. That's also why usually a offensive force usually tries to outnumber their opponent 3-1. So with that in mind, do know that the Ukrainians will be taking higher casualties over these next few days and probably weeks due to this counteroffensive. It is just the rule of war, and hopefully the casualties they take will not be in vain, as they will hopefully push the Russians back across the river in the Dnipro area and hopefully retake the key city of Kherson. And so with that, we have one last bit of news to cover in Lviv, where we saw that a giant fire has broken out within the city. We're not exactly sure what has caused this, but we can see that there is a fire ongoing. Apparently, it's at a former bus factory. We're not sure if this is sabotage. It apparently was not a missile attack, but it is a sizable fire. And now, having covered all of the news from around the country today, within Russia, and everywhere that we were able to, it is finally time to round out our return to YouTube with a speech from President Zelensky. Before this speech begins, because I know a lot of people will begin to leave during President Zelensky's speech, I have to thank you all so much once again for watching this channel. Right now, we have 7,421 people watching this stream live, and I have to thank all 7,421 of y'all for sticking around and sticking through with us as a Lee Spring Army as we combated the problems that we've had over the past 2 days with the false copyright strikes that were claimed. It has been an absolute pleasure all 191 days of the stream to cover this news with y'all and to have you all as my friends, my fans, and my supporters. It's been an absolute pleasure, and without further ado, here is the speech from President Volodymyr Zelensky.
Українці, українки. Сьогодні в нашій державі почався новий навчальний рік. Як це і має бути? Попри все, більш ніж півроку повномасштабної війни, надзвичайні руйнування, яких завдали нам окупанти. Але навчання українських дітей продовжується. Продовжується в різних форматах, однак всюди системно, професійно. І я вдячний усім нашим освітянам, які продовжують працювати і гарантують своєю увагою до дітей, що у всіх юних українців, українок є можливість стати освіченими і жити гідним сучасним життям. Більше 300 тисяч першачків, майже 4 мільйони учнів. Ось такий цьогоріч масштаб 1 вересня. Тож, окрім багатьох інших висновків, сьогодні можна зробити дуже важливий політичний висновок про стійкість нашої держави, про силу нашого суспільства. Наші освітні інституції дієві. Наша держава і місцеві громади забезпечують відновлення навчання навіть у тих районах, в яких при окупації школи були зруйновані. Сьогодні я був в Ірпені, Київської області, бачив початок роботи такої школи відновленої. 1300 учнів і учениць здобуватимуть там освіту. Діти пішли у перший клас, як це і заведено. Я був щасливий побачити, як вони починають вчитись і в яких умовах це відбувається. Хороша, комфортна, по-людськи тепла школа. І так само буде на всій території нашої держави, з якою ми обов'язково виженемо окупантів. Щоб вони не зруйнували, ми все відновимо, ми все відбудуємо. Як би вони не хотіли знищити Україну і українське, наші діти все одно підуть у свої школи, у свої університети і будуть абсолютно вільно здобувати освіту. Національну освіту, гуманістичну освіту. Таку освіту, яка побудована не на брехні і пропаганді, яку поширює держава-терорист, а на реальних знаннях, на відкритості світу, на найкращих людських цінностях. Сьогодні місія МАГАТЕ прибула на Запорізьку АЕС. Добре, що це відбулося, сам факт, попри всі провокації російських військових і цинічні обстріли Енергодару і території станції. Україна зробила все для того, щоб ця місія відбулася. Але погано, що окупанти намагаються перетворити цю місію МАГАТЕ дійсно необхідну на безплідну екскурсію по станції. Вірю, що цього вдасться не допустити. Добре, що представники МАГАТЕ мають змогу зробити об'єктивні висновки про ризики, які виникли на Запорізькій атомній станції вперше в історії. Причому виникли саме через окупантів. Головне, щоб була воля зробити саме об'єктивні висновки, постійні обстріли, присутність російських військових та зброї на станції, знущання з українського персоналу і намагання віддати станцію під управління представників Росатому, які взагалі не здатні до відповідального ставлення до такого об'єкту. Ось це причини загроз. У нас є чіткі дані про те, що Росія робила дуже багато цинічних речей, щоб обманути місію. В тому числі за допомогою залякування мешканців Енергодару. Окупанти заставляли людей брехати представникам МАГАТЕ, передавати якісь папірці, щось там підписувати, щось говорити. Коли ми бачились з паном Гросі і членами місії у Києві, ми домовились про те, що місію обов'язково будуть супроводжувати журналісти з українських та міжнародних ЗМІ. Незалежні журналісти, щоб світ бачив правду, бачив, що насправді відбувається. На жаль, це не зроблено, хоча обіцяно. На жаль, окупанти не пустили журналістів, але організували масовку своїх пропагандистів. На жаль, представники МАГАТЕ не захистили представників незалежних ЗМІ. Сподіваємось, що місія все ж зробить об'єктивні висновки з обставин на станції. Під управлінням наших спеціалістів понад 3 десятиліття перебувають 5 об'єктів. Чорнобильська станція і 4 діючі АЕС. До діяльності жодного з цих об'єктів у МАГАТЕ ніколи не було зауважень, поки Росія не вдерлася на нашу територію і не принесла сюди своє божевілля. Коли нарешті з території Запорізької АЕС вийдуть російські військові, коли вони заберуть свою зброю і боєприпаси, коли вони припинять обстріли Енергодару та сусідніх районів та свої провокації, Запорізька станція зможе повернутися до цілком безпечної роботи, яка і була завжди під контролем України. І головне, що має відбутись, це демілітаризація території станції. Саме це є метою українських і міжнародних зусиль. І погано, що ми поки що не почули відповідних закликів від МАГАТЕ, хоча і говорили про це з паном Гросі на нашій зустрічі в Києві. Це був ключовий безпековий пункт наших домовленостей. Це говорилося чітко. Демілітаризація і повний контроль українських атомників. Зустрівся сьогодні з міністром закордонних справ Данії, який прибув в Україну. Подякував за підтримку, і це дуже корисна підтримка, зокрема в оборонній сфері. Обговорили подальші кроки. Кроки на захист України і всієї об'єднаної Європи, санкційну політику і відновлення нашої держави після бойових дій. Провів першу розмову з новим прем'єр-міністром Ізраїлю Лапідом. Я підкреслив необхідність приєднання Ізраїлю до санкцій проти Росії, до санкцій за усе принесене цією війною зло. Зло, яке не мало би повернутися ніколи знову. Звернувся до польського народу. 1 вересня є річницею початку Другої світової війни. Сказав у цьому зверненні важливу річ, як і той агресор був переможений і засуджений. Неминуче буде переможений і засуджений і цей агресор. Коли вільний світ об'єднаний і жертва агресії не залишається наодинці, коли ніхто не укладає ганебних пактів, зі злом війна завершується перемогою сил добра. Підписав черговий указ про нагородження наших воїнів, 155 учасників бойових дій, відзначені державними нагородами, із них 22 посмертно. Загалом, з 24 лютого державні нагороди отримали вже 28 042 українських воїна. Ті, хто героїчно захищає нашу державу на усіх напрямках. Хто вибив ворога з півночі, хто б'є окупантів на сході, хто знищує їх на півдні. І що дуже важливо зараз, працює на звільнення нашого Криму. А особливо сьогодні хочу подякувати нашим захисникам на Харківському напрямку, 92-й бригаді, усім воїнам і комбригу Федосенку. Дякую за вашу хоробрість, хлопці. І також нашим повітряним силам вчора дуже добре відпрацювали зенітники на Донеччині, збили черговий вертоліт окупантів, вже 205-й за час повномасштабної війни, та 2 безпілотники. А загалом вже більше 800 російських безпілотників знищено. Сьогодні ж наші повітряні сили непогано відпрацювали по ворожих ракетах. Дякую за результат. Дякую усім, хто захищає Україну. Слава Україні!
And with that, that is the end of President Zelensky's speech for the night. And that wraps out our news segment for day 191 of the news. And of course, it rounds out our return back to the news of the war in Ukraine. So with that, I'm not going to go through another speech. I was about to, because honestly, tonight's a huge night for me. It's amazing to be back, and I'm glad that every one of us are all back here again, like we were at the very start. And so now, instead of going through that speech, I'm going to hand it over to Matthew, so that way we can go over some polls and get to answering everyone's questions tonight.
All right, folks, so we are now moving into our final question segment of the night on our grand opening stream since the unfortunate incident. But anyways, moving on to our first poll. The first question was, what should our format be? It looks like an overwhelming 73% of you said streams and full-length video news. 19% of you said streams only, and only 8% of you said full-length video news only. So very interesting results. And Enforcer, what are your thoughts?
Could you read them back to me real quick?
Yes, 73% said streams and full-length videos, and 19% said streams only, while only 8% said full-length video news only.
So they want both of them.
Yes.
Oh my god, jeez. I'll try and see if that's possible. Because I would love to know that we could try and reach everyone with any kind of news they're looking for. Like, if y'all want to get on here and talk to us, please, by all means. If you want to watch a video, please do so. And you know, we'll try and work on that in the future. But I really don't know how that'll work yet. But we will work on that. So with that, we are on to the next poll. I believe I think we have another one.
So yes, we do have one more poll to go over, and this one said, do you think the Russians will purposefully try to target the nuclear power plant itself? It looks like 62% said yes, they are going to. 26% said maybe, it might be an accident. And 12% said no, they wouldn't dare. But before I weigh in on that poll, I actually want to ask the Enforcer a question that a few viewers asked. And it's actually a pretty interesting question. Alex Wolf said, some of us are confused about the plant. If it's occupied by Russians, why would Russians be shelling it?
That's an incredibly good question, and the answer to that is I don't really know why. As far as the information and available data we have, it does appear that the Russians are shelling the plant, although their forces are using it. That is contradictory, however. It does not make any logical sense whatsoever, considering the Russians have been there for a while, for them to bombard their own plant. So, with that in mind, I'm not exactly sure, and I don't think I would have an answer to that question, and I think there's only one answer that could be had to that question, but I'm honestly not going to even state it or believe it even, as it would not make sense for the Ukrainians to bombard the power plant, considering that they have been the ones to offer to send in crews to reconnect Enerhodar to the grid. As y'all may not know right now, Enerhodar is completely disconnected from the grid, as far as I know, and they're attempting to try and reconnect it, and the Ukrainians are offering, considering that they say the Russians have committed the damage that led it to be disconnected from the grid, to help out with their own crews and available people to try and get that power plant back up and running. So, honestly, I see a lot of people saying false flag, and I think this may be one of the first instances ever of a false flag that I would believe. So with that, I hope that kind of addresses that question, and now let's get back to that poll.
All right, so that poll, actually, let's see here, it said 61% said yes, they are going to purposefully target the nuclear power plant in reference to Russia doing so. 26% said maybe it might be an accident, and 12% said no, they wouldn't dare. But in light of what was just discussed, it's kind of hard to answer that poll, so I'm going to reserve judgment on it.
I would say the Russians would most likely bombard the plant if we're assuming these are false flags. I think they would most likely try and hit it, because it looks like they keep on getting closer and closer with their fire until they're literally landing shots like we saw today right in between the containment buildings. And so with that, I hope that answers the poll in a way, and we are now on to the questions.
All right, and moving into our super chats, we have a whole lot of super chats and live chats tonight.
How many
and
super
up first,
chats?
we have super chat wise, we're looking at about 70 or so.
Oh my god! Okay, well, we're going to answer, of course, as we normally do, every single one of them. And so with that, let's start it off, Matthew.
All right, so first up, we have a $100 super chat from Praise Adonai, another longtime channel supporter and viewer, who says, Enforcer and Matt, I have some news from a reliable source that Israel will now send Iron Dome equipment to Ukraine. Are you of the opinion that it will be used to protect Kyiv or somewhere else? Great job for both of you, and keep your chins up, and Slava Ukraine.
Slava Ukraini. And thank you so much for the wonderful support as well. And also to answer your question, Praise Adonai, I think that if the Israelis sent the Iron Dome system to Ukraine, it would most likely be used in Kharkiv. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense because Kyiv is the capital, but Kharkiv is the second largest city in Ukraine and it's the closest to the front lines. It also gets fired at by conventional MLRSs and I guess you could say artillery often, pretty much daily at this point. And so, considering that the Iron Dome system seems to be best suited to intercept and destroy those kinds of munitions at a rapid pace, it would be best to deploy it in Kharkiv. It would save the most lives that way, most likely. But then again, the Ukrainians could, if they get enough of them, put them in both Kharkiv and Kyiv, or in other cities that are incredibly close to the front lines, like Mykolaiv, which also get barraged a lot, and therefore save as many Ukrainian lives as possible, and of course make sure that it makes the largest contribution to the war. But then again, that's just my thought. It could be that they put them in Kyiv. I'm not exactly sure. But I thank you so much once again for the support, Praise Adonai, and thank you so much for being a Lee Spring Army soldier and for supporting this channel through and through so much, all the time, every single day pretty much that we've been running, and I thank you so much for sticking with us, and also for a very interesting question tonight, and I hope that news is true. And so with that, we are on to the next one, and thank you so much once again for the support.
All right, and moving right along, we have a $50 super chat from Super Bonker 5000, who says, welcome back, guys. Slava Ukraine, pulled pork is good for you.
Well, thank you so much for the welcome back. And I don't know if you meant pulled orc or pulled pork, but at this point, I'll take either of them. I didn't have a lot to eat today, but my mom did make a killer chicken a la king. And I've never had chicken a la king until about a week ago, but that is like some of the most delicious stuff I've ever had. But I do thank you so much for the support, and I will make sure to have some pulled pork, because of course that is a southern food, and we love it very much down here. And so with that, I hope that does address the comment, and thank you so much for welcoming us back, and it's good to be back. Y'all don't know how good it is for me to be back. I can't live like doing nothing anymore in the at night. Like, this is what I do. And it's crazy to think that I went a whole night without doing anything. And so with that, thank you so much once again, and I'm more than happy to be back, and I'm so glad that I'm able to talk to all of y'all once again. And so with that, we are on to the next one.
All right, and moving on to our next super chat, we have a $50 donation from Robert Harrington, who says, we are glad, thumbs up, Slava Ukraine, and LSA.
LSA! LSA! And thank you so much. I'm glad that we are all back. Because y'all weren't here for a night, and also y'all may have noticed, because I did see some people sending in some comments, hey, all of the stuff is going off the channel but one stream. That was done deliberately, because what I was thinking at that time is that this person, considering that they're maliciously attacking our channel with false copyrights, they were going to start copyrighting other stuff on other videos, and so I took everything off the channel that wasn't like 6 months old or so. So that kind of answers that for a second, and I do thank you so much for the support to this channel and helping us to keep this thing rolling. It means a lot to both Matthew and me, and I've got to thank every one of y'all once again for helping us to keep moving. And so with that, thank you so much once again for the support, and we are on to the next one.
And up next, we have a $50 super chat from Compound David, who says, Black Ivory Coffee Deposit, LSA.
And thank you so much for the Black Ivory Coffee Fund. Well, you've never had Black Ivory Coffee, I don't believe, but let's pull that up. Black Ivory coffee. Also, just letting y'all know, since this is our stream back, it's probably going to be an incredibly long one. So, you know, I'm sorry. But it was considering we have so many super chats tonight and live chat questions, this may go on till like 2 a.m. in the morning Eastern time. I don't know, but we'll see. Let's see. It's consumed by elephants and collected from their waste. Oh God, it's another one of those.
Oh man.
Well, at least
I forgot what the other one was called, but it was also had something to do with a cat pooping coffee. And I don't want anything to do with that.
yeah, this looks. I thank you for the support. We will use this for normal coffee, but I don't think I would have these. But thank you so much once again for the support, and thank you for supporting our coffee fund in general.
And wait, was Compound David the one that suggested the other coffee too? I think he was.
I think he was actually. He keeps on suggesting poo-poo coffee to us. And so, and so, thank you so much for the support. And with that, we're on to the next one. Thank you so much for actually helping out this channel a lot. And before we move on to the next one, I see a lot of people asking who the channel was that did the copyright strikes against us. I do not want to disclose the name of the channel, but I will say that apparently their channel, as far as I've seen, has been removed for doing this stuff to a whole lot of people, from what I know. So. It looks like YouTube has taken action against them for laying out false copyright claims, which at the same time, it kind of leaves me wondering, well, if they've got them for doing that, why haven't they revoked our strikes? I just checked my dashboard literally just right then. They're still there. And so it's like, why in the world are we still being punished for something y'all clearly know they were doing without any basis or grounds for it? You know, so I'm still not gonna list their name off, but it doesn't make any sense. So with that, we are on to the next one.
And folks, as you all know, and as you witnessed, while we are grateful to YouTube for them hosting our stream, their copyright system needs some serious reform, because that is really, really bad design that somebody can maliciously go and make copyright claims against a channel and basically disable them for as long as YouTube deems fit. So that's definitely not good, and YouTube really needs to fix that. But anyways, moving on to our next super chat, we have a $50 donation from Beethoven27, who says, "Welcome back, Enforcer and Enforcer Matt." Yeehaw! From Beethoven Opus 27.
Hey, well, thank you so much, Beethoven Opus 27, for the support, and thank you for welcoming us back. It's been a pleasure to be back tonight. I've absolutely enjoyed every second of it. And of course, I bet you all know that because I was literally screaming my lungs out at the beginning of the stream because I was so excited to be back. But thank you so much once again for the support. And I'm more than happy to be here reporting the news to all of y'all. And hopefully, I will be y'all's candidate for the 2040 presidential election. And with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you so much for the welcome back, Beethoven.
Yes, indeed. And up next, we have a few super chats left without comments. Up first, we have a $50 super chat from Magic Sky Girl, a $50 donation from Mary Williams, and a $40 donation from Phil Tatham. And he did leave that in pounds, as the Enforcer likes to point out a lot. So thank you very much to all three of you for your support of the channel. I know Phil's already gotten off for the night, but I wish I could have thanked him on stream for his support, but we appreciate you very much. And also big thanks to Mary Williams and Magic Sky Girl.
And also, I would like to thank every single one of y'all as well. Y'all helped this channel to keep on running. And while y'all did not leave a comment there, I do know that y'all are sending in that support and telling us that we're doing a good job and y'all want us to keep going. And I thank you all so much for sticking with this channel through... I gotta say, honestly, I'm very surprised. I thought that a lot of people would probably leave once we got copyright striked, but y'all came back bigger and better than ever before, honestly. Like, a lot of y'all showed up tonight. We got up to, at our maximum, 7,620 people on at a time. And that's about one of the highest viewed channels we've had, well, highest viewed streams we've had recently. And it's an absolute honor to think that people really do enjoy our channel that much. And so with that, I hope that does address every single one of y'all. And thank you so much once again for the support. And with that, we are on to the next one.
All right, and moving right along, up next we have a $40 super chat from Bozo430, who says, "Been here every day since day 15. I have a Ukrainian friend from Odessa, and I was wondering why he wasn't mad at the Russians as much as I was. It turns out his dad is Ukrainian and his mom pure Russian, and his family is forced to fight each other. It's so very sad."
Well, thank you very much for the support, and I do have to say that in some instances like this, I guess you could kind of view this in terms of families fighting each other, a lot like the border states in the American Civil War. Now, that's one thing that's kind of lost in modern history because the way the Civil War is taught in schools is, of course, changing in the United States as the times change. But one thing that can never be understated in the U.S. Civil War is pretty much the mini war that happened in between Tennessee and Kentucky. Families that lived directly on each side of the border pretty much ended up fighting each other head on, looking each other face to face while shooting in, of course, a normal battle. And when you think about that, that's of course a sad thing. And of course that is happening in Ukraine right now. For a while, Ukraine was heavily Russian aligned and of course a former Soviet republic. And so there was a lot of Russians that lived in Ukraine and a lot of Ukrainians that lived and did business in Russia. And so sometimes there are complicated family ties like that there. And that is something that I guess would lead one to not be as outraged as normal, considering that they're of half Ukrainian blood, half Russian blood, and so you can't really get mad at either party or support either one because you're kind of caught in the middle, I guess you could say, based off of their family. So with that, I thank you so much for the support, and I do have to say it's kind of a sad thing that happens sometimes in war, but of course life is sometimes just an unfortunate thing, and I would have to say that that's one of them. And so with that, I hope that does address the comment, and thank you so much once again for the support. And with that, we are on to the next one.
And up next, we have a $35 super chat from Andrew Parker, who says, I'm glad you're still with us.
And thank you so much, Andrew, for saying you're glad that I'm still with y'all. I would not have it any other way. The place I want to be right now is right here at this computer, in this chair, reporting the news to y'all. Hopefully, I'll be able to push out more videos to y'all tomorrow and better videos in the future. I want to keep on growing this channel all the way until I'm done with the law school and even beyond that, maybe, if everyone's enjoying it a whole lot and it's doing incredibly well. And I thank you all so much for sticking with us. I just can't stress that enough. Y'all stuck with us, and that was something that was amazing to me. So before I tear up on that, thank you so much once again for the support, Andrew Parker, and we are on to the next one.
All right, and up next, we have a $25 super chat from Hillneck304, who says, thanks for your hard work, and I was starting to have enforcer withdrawal. And Hillneck, we were actually starting to have stream withdrawal because we've been doing this for so long. We didn't know what to do. We were just left sort of hopeless, actually. But thank you very much for the support.
And I thank you so much for the support. And I hate to hear that you were having enforcer withdrawals. That was something that was stressing me out a lot, as I knew that a lot of y'all count on us for nightly news and reporting and fundraising and all kinds of stuff. And then some guy. And the craziest thing, I kind of have to say this unfiltered for a second. The craziest thing to me is that it was a Ukrainian channel. I don't understand what in the world their motive was behind this, trying to take us down. Were they trying to become the only channel on YouTube that could post Ukrainian content? I don't know. I don't know what their goal was, but it honestly blew me away that a channel like that would do such a thing to us. That's one thing I will tell you. I won't tell you all the channel name, but I will tell you that they were Ukrainian. And it was a huge shock to me that they would do something like that to us, considering that the Lee Spring Army has raised almost $500,000 in support of Ukraine, and that we are constantly here wishing them the best and wanting the world for them. And then this guy, he just wants to spit in our face for no reason. I don't even know why. I emailed the guy because it gives me his email. I emailed him and I said, hey, why are you doing this? Could you please remove the copyright strike? Because we were just over here trying to report the news and all that stuff, and he never even responded. He still hasn't responded. And that was kind of a shock to me. But of course, I'm glad that we were able to get over that. I'm glad that we're not, that none of y'all are having any enforcer withdrawals anymore. And so with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you so much once again for the support.
And also, folks, I've seen people point it out in the live chat, but I've been wondering that if maybe it is a Russian posing as a Ukrainian channel, because that would be a good way for a Russian to try to turn us against Ukrainians. But I still have doubts about their actual identity personally.
Wait a minute.
That's just me.
I would like to say this real quick. The channel in question, because I of course did I took a good look at this channel to figure out what they were about. And I think that one of the reasons why they may have started maliciously copyright striking us is because they had a PayPal attached on their channel, and they said, come support our PayPal, because, it will go to Ukrainian soldiers somewhere. And y'all all know what I've said about PayPals before. You really got to trust someone to do a PayPal, and even at that, there's not really a lot of accounting or information to the validity and the safety of that kind of fundraising. And I think that may have been one of the reasons that guy did that, is that he saw that I had said that stuff on one of my streams. He was like, oh, he's going to try and, raise up that, there may be some questionable stuff going on. I'll show him. That may have been what he was doing that for, too. I don't know. All of this is speculation. I have no idea. But with that, I hope that kind of answers that a little bit, and we're on to the next one.
All right. And next up, we have a $25 super chat from John Gonzalez, who says, just happy that y'all are back online. I was bummed out all day, but knew you would be back in some way, shape, or form. LSA.
LSA! LSA! And thank you so much for the support. And I'm glad that we were back today. I was actually scared that it would be an entire 2 weeks, but we got back here after 48 hours. So I was pretty happy about that. Still wanting YouTube to remove the copyright strikes because officially they're still on my channel, although it appears that the punishment has been lifted. So we're still waiting on that. But honestly, y'all ought to all go out there and just spam everyone. Go to Roman Kostenko himself and tell him about this. Tell everyone in the world about this. And so that way YouTube will hopefully lift these copyright strikes. Because although the punishment's been lifted, I am not happy at all about getting on my channel and being reminded of a wrongful punishment that's been inflicted on us by a guy who had no right to do something like that. And so with that, we are on to the next one, and thank you so much once again for the support.
And up next, I want to recognize a $20 super chat from Mark Jensen, who does not leave a comment. But Mark, thank you very much for your support of the channel, and it's good to see you once again. And up next, we have a $20 super chat from Santiago Flores, who says, for the fund to fund the polls. Matt. And thank you, Santiago. I hadn't got to run polls in days, so it's like I'm back on the addiction there. But anyways, I've gotten to run 3 of them tonight just because I'm so backed up with the super chats and live chat questions. But hopefully, I can get back to running a crap ton more of them because I love to see the results. But thank you very much for your support. And Enforcer, do you want to add anything to that?
Yes, I do thank you so much for the support. And yes, Matthew runs incredibly good polls. I would have to say that. And so I bet he's pretty happy to be back here running the polls, and I'm actually pretty interested in them too. And so with that, thank you so much once again for the support. And before we move on, I would like to address something real quick. I've seen some people maybe mistaking Roman Kostenko. Roman Kostenko is the People's Deputy of Ukraine. He's one of the higher up people in their government, and one of the videos that was copyrighted was his. Well, supposedly. Now, let me make sure I clearly state that. Supposedly, according to the claimant, it's copyrighted by them, and that's their intellectual property. But how can that be when the person in the video is not them, and it's the People's Deputy of Ukraine, which is a government official, making that video on behalf of the Ukrainian government, which makes that video public domain, and then we used it on our stream, and it was public domain anyway, so there wasn't even a copyright on it that this guy is falsely claiming is there. So with that, I hope that kind of answers the question. Kind of answers that a little bit, so that way y'all know that Roman is not the guy who did this to us or anything. He's the People's Deputy of Ukraine, and he's, as far as I know, he's fairly decent. And so with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you, everyone, so much for the support once again. I hope that clarifies that for a second.
All right. And up next, we have a $20 super chat from BC Skyman, who says, we are so happy to have Matt and the Enforcer back. And BC, I want to give a special shout out to you as well. You were being extremely helpful to me in the Discord, trying to help us navigate our way through this very difficult situation. And a big thanks to you for offering your assistance.
And also, thank you so much, BC Skyman, for being around forever. I believe I was getting a lot of messages. I actually got about 150 a day so far on Discord, which I try to respond to all of them. I think I remember getting a message from you, and I got to thank you so much for caring about us and trying to reach out to us. Of course, I sadly am never able to read everything enough because I'm always trying to hurry up and get to everyone's. So I thank you so much once again. And I thank you for reaching out to Matthew, who does, a lot of our work behind the streams and helps us out a whole load. Matthew is largely doing kind of the administrative stuff behind the stream, of course, getting in touch with people, touching bases, stuff like that. And my job behind the stream is to make sure that we have a stream to run and we have news and things like that. And so with that, thank you so much once again for the support, and we are on to the next one.
And up next, we have a $20 super chat from Justice Ryan, who says, Enforcer and Matt, thank God you're back on. And Justice Ryan, I share the exact same sentiment, and thank you for the support.
And also, thank you, Ryan, for the support. And I'm glad that you also support the Lee Spring Army because LSA, LSA. And also, thank you so much once again for the support. And it does help out our channel a great deal. And so with that, thank you so much once again. And we are on to the next one.
And folks, I have to warn you ahead of time, a lot of the super chats all say generally about the same thing. I'm so glad that you're back. So I'm going to repeat it a lot tonight, but we're going to go through them all, each one individually. So up next, we have a $20 super chat from Charlotte S., who says, I'm so glad you're back. The Ukrainian government don't let out many news at the moment. And Charlotte, I actually think they're in a media blackout, if I'm correct, Enforcer.
That is correct. And also, thank you so much for the support, Charlotte. And also, I would like to make some things clear. I have seen a certain YouTuber coming up about they may have been the one behind the copyright strikes. I have seen their name. No, as far as we know, they're not. That there was another channel, which we're not listing. We're not going to name. But it's not the one some of y'all are thinking about. So the answer to that's no. Also, the second thing is that we were not copyright striked because of Ukraine's media blackout. This was done by an independent YouTube channel entirely on their own and falsifying claims that they own some kind of intellectual property that led them to have a copyright on these videos, and then we're trying to enforce it on us. So I hope that clarifies a couple of things about what happened there. And with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you so much once again for the support, Charlotte S. And I hope that does address the comment.
And up next, a big shout out to Max Power for putting in a $20 super chat and saying cheers. And he puts the little wine glasses clinking together emoji behind it. So Max Power, big thanks to you, and we appreciate your support very much. And welcome back. And up next, we have a $20 super chat from Augustin Lara, who says, I'm so happy you guys are back. Enjoy a pizza on me in celebration that you're back. Viva Ukraine and Viva the Enforcer.
And thank you so much for the support to the Pizza Fund. Honestly, I feel like having a pizza right now. I didn't eat a lot today. I went to college. I actually had a fun time in college. I was, in the middle of trying to get the freaking copyright strikes appealed, but I had a fun time in college today. Sat down in class. The lecture was incredibly interesting today, I gotta say. But it's been a very long day for me. I actually have a little bit of a headache right now from going to college, not because of the lecture or anything. It was just because I had to walk like 2 miles round trip. Which, I don't walk a lot. I sit here at a computer all day, so I was like, ooh, goodness. But anyways, I do thank you so much for the support. And can you reread that super chat real quick to make sure I can address all of it, Matthew?
Basically, Augustin said, I'm happy you're back and enjoy a pizza on me.
And also, I will make sure, Brian, to enjoy that pizza because honestly, I am starving right now. And so with that, I hope that does address the comment. And thank you so much once again for the support. And we are on to the next one.
And up next, let me recognize a $20 super chat from Lala, who says, thanks for being you, in a super sticker.
Well, thank you so much, Lala, for the support. And I'm glad that you do enjoy this channel a whole lot. And thank you for being you. And thank you so much for enjoying this channel and helping us to keep this thing running and showing us that you do support us. So with that, I hope that does answer the question in a way. We'll at least address the super sticker in a way, which was kind of cool. And with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you so much once again, Lala.
All right. And before we move on, I want to give a shout out to our Discord. If you want to connect with us after the stream, we have a link in the video description below the title, actually, where you can join our Discord. And there's a lot of good things that happen over on the Discord. So feel free to go join. We'd love to have you. And just feel free to click that link. And also hit the like button too. We appreciate that as well.
Now, real quick, Matthew, I'll have to pause this here because I see that something is getting a little bit out of control in the live chat. I have to make it clear, the person who filled out those copyright strikes was not Dennis Davidoff. It was another channel. I see a lot of people saying that. It was not him. It was someone else. So with that, we're now on to the next one. I have to make that clear because I'm trying to subtly say that it's not them without directly saying their name, but everyone keeps on with that, and it's like, well, no, that's not true. And I don't want anyone going around and saying that because that causes unnecessary beef about something that isn't really true. And so I'd like to nip that in the bud right now. It's not Dennis Davidoff who did that. On top of that, if he did, and the story was to all be wrapped up into a bow, if he had done that, then his channel would have been, as far as we can tell, terminated, because the guy who filled out the copyright claims against us apparently he's had his channel terminated. So it wouldn't be him, because that would have to be one of the prerequisites to it being him. Anyways, with that, we're on to the next one.
All right, and next up, we have a super chat from none other than Psyops, who puts in a $20 donation and says, "Don't worry, fellas, your daily dose of vitamin P is coming up. Now sit back and relax and open up your ears for the truth bomb I'm about to drop." Texas stinks. Oklahoma #1.
Well, thank you for the support, Silas. I already knew that was coming, but I gotta thank you so much for always being in here and talking about that freaking Texas-Oklahoma beef. Of course, I know one person that has Texas in their name that is about to go off on you because I saw it in the live chat before. But I gotta thank you for the support, and I thank you for keeping up the joke about Texas stinking, because honestly, I'm not in that beef, but it is still pretty funny to think that that you just keep on pressing that. It's a good joke, and I like it. Keep it up. And so with that, thank you so much once again for the support, Psyops. And with that, we are on to the next one, and thank you once again.
And up next, we have a $20 donation from Duncan VR, who is going to put me through my paces tonight. He says, "It's time for Matthew to sing the FSB rap song, ba 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 ba, Putin loves seagulls, blow up doll, meow, woof, meow, ba 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 ba, moo moo, woof, woof, spam is better than ham, ba ba ba, yeehaw!"
Well, thank you for the support, Duncan, and I'm glad that Matthew was able to go through his whole entire soundboard over there as he tried to read off that message. And so with that, thank you so much once again for the support. I hope that does address the comment. And with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you so much once again for the support and also backing this channel. And so with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you once again.
And yes, Duncan, thank you very much for your support. I hadn't got to do the sheep noises in quite some time, so it was good to get back in the practice of it. But anyways, moving on, we have a $20 super chat from W, who says, "What are the odds of Kherson getting taken back by Thanksgiving?"
I don't really know. I honestly can't tell you, because we don't know the progress of Ukrainian forces right now to be able to get an assessment of how fast they're moving and how fast they might be able to get to the city to even fight through it. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to tell you, I'm going to have to declare ignorance on that one, also due to operational security issues, because if I give a timetable of how fast they're moving and guesstimate off of that, that may be giving away stuff that the Russians may be unaware of. So with that, I hope that does kind of answer the question. And I'm sorry we actually can't give an answer to it due to operational security issues. But thank you so much once again for the support. And with that, we are on to the next one.
All right, and moving right along, we have a $100 super chat from Paolo Cardini, a longtime channel legend, who says, "I'm so glad to have you guys back and that the live shows will continue. Any thoughts on the death of the chairman of Lukoil, Ravil Maganov, who criticized the war before slipping and falling out of a hospital window in Moscow yesterday?"
I actually kind of heard about that in passing, and also thank you for the huge support, Paolo. I did kind of hear about that in passing today, but I didn't really look into it too much. But honestly, if you slip and fall out of a hospital window, how in the world does that happen? I don't believe that for a minute. It was probably some kind of an assassination attempt where they threw him out a window. And considering that he was criticizing the government, that would give the precedent for the Russians to go and kill the guy. They killed Navalny. Well, wait a minute. No. Wait a minute. Let me make sure I got that correct. Navalny. Let's see here. This is the.
I think he's in prison.
Yeah, he's in prison. So you can see Putin's biggest political opponent is in prison, and I guess you could say really everyone else who's ever criticized Putin in Russia and the government has ended up dead in prison or assassinated. Well, that's also dead, but you kind of get the picture. So I think that would most likely be a Russian assassination attempt, considering they always try and make it look like it was some kind of accident. And so with that, I thank you so much once again for the support, Paolo, and I hope we were able to answer that question fairly well. And thank you so much for being a Lee Spring Army soldier. And with that, we are on to the next one, and thank you so much once again.
And up next, we have a $20 super chat from Jonathan Stevens and a $20 super chat from M. Adams, who says perseverance.
Hey! Well, thank you so much for the support, Adams. And also, I would have to say that it has taken a lot of perseverance for me to continue on these streams. And also, it's taken a lot from Matthew because, honestly, it was very tough at the point of getting 2 copyright strikes like that and being told we wouldn't be able to do anything for 14 days, to not be discouraged at that point, specifically knowing the actual details behind it. Because, you know, you just sit there and you're like, well, what in the world? Why in the world would someone like that do that to me? You know, I haven't done anything against them. But with that, thank you so much for the support. And I'm glad that you do enjoy our perseverance, as I did make a promise, and I uphold my promises as best I can. Sorry about last night where there was no stream or video. I was in pretty bad sorts last night and couldn't run one anyways. But I do thank you all so much for enjoying this. And so with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you once again.
All right. And up next, we have a $20 super chat from Sergio Mora, who puts in the Brazil flag 5 times.
Well, I thank you so much for the support, and I do like that you enjoy your country of Brazil. Brazil's an interesting place, and it's actually, I would say, if any country in the Americas was to become a viable power at this point, it would most likely be Brazil out of all of them. I know that's kind of shocking, you know, considering that there are some things that are going on in Brazil, but if we take a look at their economy, Brazilian GDP, it ought to be growing. Actually, it's kind of dropped a little bit, but in 2011 to 2014, they were pretty high up there. In fact, they still have a larger GDP than the Russians. So with that, I hope that kind of addresses the comment in a way. And thank you so much once again for the support. And with that, we are on to the next one.
All right, and moving right along, up next, we have a $20 super chat from Sick Lid, who says, Enforcer is the Robert E. Lee of the Leaf Spring Army. We lose without you.
Wait a minute. Read that again.
He said, Enforcer is the Robert E. Lee of the Leaf Spring Army. We lose without you.
Well, I thank you for the support. But with General Lee, there is a little bit of a political thing that surrounds him a little bit, considering that he was a Confederate. But if we were to look at General Lee not as a Confederate, but as a military commander, he did pull off some pretty good miracles, especially for what he was working with the Confederate Army. But at the same time, I would like to more so say, if I was to be compared to any Civil War general, I would more so like to be Grant. I think Grant was a pretty good general, pretty fair. Of course, we all know that he had a problem with alcoholism, but everyone's got their vices. All in all, pretty solid commander. I do like what he was doing in the Western campaigns near the Mississippi River. And so with that, thank you so much once again for the support. I hope that does address the comment. And yes, I do know that General Lee would lose in the end, but you do have to admit that at times there were some amazing stunts, I guess you could say, that were pulled off by Lee's Army of Northern Virginia, much like Erwin Rommel will pull off in North Africa. You know, Erwin Rommel was a German, you know, specifically the particular kind, but it doesn't really disparage them for their innate, I guess you could say, skills of being commanders. Also, you know, I think there's more impressive military commanders from the Second World War from the Allies than there were from the Nazis. We had greats like Eisenhower, Patton, Bradley, Montgomery, you know, like the list goes on. It goes on forever. I could sit here forever, but I do thank you so much for the support, and I see what you're getting at, but I would rather be General Grant. And so with that, thank you so much once again for the support. I hope that does address the comment, and with that, we are on to the next one.
All right, and up next, we have a $20 super chat from Bass Girl, who says, thank you for fighting for the LSA. We love y'all, and I'm so sorry for the issues that the haters caused you. You must be doing something right for people to try and shut you down. LSA for life.
And I got to thank you so much for the support, all those kind words. That was an incredibly low, kind stream of words that you just said there. And I don't know what this guy's problem was with their channel. I really don't know. But I got to say that it was really saddening to think that someone would try and come after us like that with no base to do it. And I thank you so much for backing us up and helping us to get through, supporting us to get through this, and we finally made it through, as far as I know, and we're back. And so with that, thank you so much once again for the support. I hope that does address the comment, and with that, we are on to the next one, and thank you so much once again.
And moving along, we have a $20 super chat from Cliff H, who says, happy to see the Enforcers back. Victory for the resilient LSA.
Hey, well, thank you so much for the support, and I'm glad to be back too. I know, like, we're getting nothing but comments like this tonight, but I'm so glad to be back. You can ask Matthew. I was stressed through the roof the past 2 days trying to get us somehow back on, and for some reason, oh, Matthew, I can hear myself. There's reverb.
Now that is strange. My headphones just disconnected. Just a moment.
Let's see. We're still waiting. We are.
Okay, I believe we should be sorted now.
Testing. We are. So, can you reread that one real quick?
So that last super chat said, happy to see the enforcers back and victory for LSA.
And also, thank you so much for the support and LSA. And with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you once again.
And up next, we have a $20 super chat from Chris Morin, who says, welcome back, guys. And thank you very much, Chris, and welcome back to you as well.
And thank you, Chris. And also, thank you for the welcome back. I'm more than happy to be here. And like I said earlier, I wouldn't be anywhere but right here. And so with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you once again.
And up next, we have a $20 super chat from Phantom Shaman, who says, Enforcer, will the southern Dnipro around Kherson freeze during the winter? Congrats to you and Matt for making it back, and outstanding job.
And thank you so much for those kind words. And to answer your question, since we finally have a question tonight, I would say, I don't know. Let's pull up the average weather. Average weather in Kherson. And let's see, December. The low in Fahrenheit would be 26 degrees. So I don't think it will get cold enough for the river to freeze over. It is below freezing temperature, but it's not low enough for it to, in my mind, to be considered ice temperatures, especially considering how fast the Dnipro moves. It would most likely not freeze over. That may be good, that may be bad. We'll just have to wait and see. So with that, I thank you so much for the support. I hope that does address the comment. And with that, we are on to the next one.
All right, and moving on to our next one, we have a super chat from W again, who puts in another $20 donation and says, I could be wrong, but I think when you treat Parkinson's with L-DOPA, it can actually push the patient into Huntington's disease type of presentation, which is weird, uncontrolled movements. And a big shout out to the Bridge guys.
And thank you for the support, and also a huge shout out to those guys. Those guys were brave. I don't think we've ever seen anyone as brave as that before. I don't think we ever will again on video, but that was impressive bravery that was shown by those Ukrainians, and it instills doubt, not doubt, it instills faith in me again that the brave Ukrainian soldier isn't just a thing that we hear about, it's something that we can actually see, like we saw today. And so with that, thank you so much for the support, and also I thank you very much for sharing that information with me. I feel pretty confident in sharing this information because the person I'm about to talk about has been dead for a couple of years, but I had a friend from the Vietnam War named Bill. I didn't know him in the Vietnam War, but I did know him when he was my next door neighbor, and he was the kindest guy I'd ever known. He had gone through a lot. And he had Huntington's disease. Actually, he had Parkinson's disease. Let me correct that real quick. And so I do know about the tremors and shakes that you talk about because he would tremor and shake all the time. But even through all that, he was an incredibly kind guy, and he was one of the nicest people I ever knew. And it was a sad day to hear that he finally died from his affliction because the guy was just the coolest guy you'd ever know. You wouldn't have ever known that he was some go-get-em tough guy in Vietnam. He was just the nicest old man I ever knew with incredibly interesting stories, and he's one of the reasons I learned a lot about how the normal military, the normal enlisted side of the military works. He told me a lot about it and how it worked in Vietnam, and I kind of used that to this day to interpret how the military most likely works now, because it doesn't really change much. But moving on back to Putin, I would have to say he probably does have some kind of a Huntington's or Parkinson's disease sort of thing, considering that kind of like leg movement was just abnormal, especially for him. And so with that, we are on to the next one, and thank you so much once again for the support.
And up next, we have a $20 super chat from Leaf Spring Army, who I still love that username a whole bunch. But anyways, they said, great to see you back, gentlemen, and keep up the fight. And we definitely will.
And thank you so much for the support, Leaf Spring Army. And we will keep up the good fight. And we're going to make sure to keep fundraising for Ukraine and we're going to make sure to keep on running these live streams, because I sat here and promised y'all we're going to cover this news every single day until this war is done, and hell or high water, I'm going to keep doing that. I've gone through all kinds of battles at this point. I've gone through a schism. I've gone through bot attacks on these streams. I've gone through the copyright strikes. I've gone through every single one of them, and I've survived, and the army has survived with it. And until this war is done, we're going to keep being here. We're going to keep staying here. And one thing I'm also going to say is that I'm never going to give up this YouTube channel. I know that we made a second channel, and we also made a Twitch, but I honestly, I don't think I'll ever use those. I started on this channel here. This is my channel. This is pretty much my ground, and I will die on this hill. Either I stay on this channel or YouTube wipes me off the face of the earth. That's how I honestly feel about it. So I thank you so much for the support, and we're going to keep on covering this war, and the Lee Spring Army is going to stay right here. And with that, we are on to the next one, and thank you once again.
All right, and up next, we have a super chat from Sweaty Chungus, who puts in a $20 donation. And I hadn't got to say that in forever. And it's good to see you again, Sweaty Chungus. He says, I feel like you need a contingency plan in case this copyright strike becomes a trend. Perhaps it's time to formulate a contingency plan and start communicating it in each stream. Don't be discouraged by desperate people.
And I thank you so much for the support, Sweaty Chungus. And I kind of covered that just a second ago. I honestly feel like this. And here's something that I would also like people to think about. If we go to Enforcer 2.0, which is our backup channel right now, and the link should work for it, although I heard some people say it doesn't, the problem with that is that if I was to ever try and survive, like I do right now, because of course, as you all know, this is about a 50 to 60 week ordeal, 50 to 60 hour a week ordeal, so it's more than a full-time job. And so to do that, I would have to move to the second channel, and the problem is I can't monetize anything once I get 3 strikes in this channel and gets taken down, because they also revoked my AdSense account. So I can't make a living off of this anymore and doing this as a job, because they'll completely strip my right to do that. So YouTube, even if I did have a second channel, is entirely out of the picture, unless if I was to make a Patreon. And then this channel can't really have grand ambitions, like covering other stuff outside of the war, because I would never be able to make a living off of it. I would have to go probably find another job to support myself, and then I'd be well over my head, because by that time I'd probably be in law school, and then trying to work a part-time or a full-time job, and then do this, which is a full-time job, and then some. So I would then have to move to Twitch, and I actually started doing a little bit of research on Twitch, and while YouTube looks like it has its problems, Twitch is a lot worse, apparently. So I don't know. I'm kind of stuck in between a rock and a hard place right now, Sweaty Chungus. But I see some people saying Rumble. I don't really know about Rumble. I'll look into it, though. But I do thank you so much for the support, and I hope that does kind of address the comment in a way. And so with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you so much once again for the support. Also, Compound David said use a different email. The problem is, though, is that with AdSense, you have to input your legal name and your social security number. And unfortunately, you can't change a social security number. And so with that, we are on to the next one. And I hope that addresses that real quick.
And folks, I am seeing your suggestions about the backup channel. I won't discuss the details out loud on the stream just so we don't give away anything we're doing. But let's just say some of your suggestions are being put into place. But anyways, up next, we have an $18 super chat from NOYDB, who says, maybe I missed it. $20 Canadian. If you say the following, he says, what? I thought Putin was dead. I really want to see if your Gorbachev mojo has legs or not.
What?
I'm not sure what that means, to be totally honest.
Well, I thank you for the support. I don't know what that means, but I do thank you for the support. And so with that, we are on to the next one, and thank you once again.
And also, real quick, I want to give one more shout out. I'm not trying to plug the merch, by the way. This is not a shameless plug. But I'm trying to give credit to the artist that created that Honey Badger merch, which was 6022 by 1023rd. Big shout out to that artist once again. They prefer to go by that pseudonym just to protect their identity, but a very creative fan of the Leaf Spring Army, and we appreciate you very, very much once more. And I just wanted to give you a second shout out because that was really tremendous work, and you are due credit because of it. So thank you very much for that. And moving on to our next super chat, we have an $18 donation from Rhonda Murray, who says, "Thank you so much for your coverage of this horrible war. I look forward to your honest updates every night."
And I gotta thank you so much for the support, and I'm glad that you do enjoy our updates every single night, as I put in as much effort as I can into trying to report this news, and I'm glad that no matter the malicious intent of anyone out there, no matter what they're trying to do against this channel, we've been able to make it through. And I hope that in the future, as I know that this will not be the end, there will be something in the future, once again, that happens. I hope that the Lee Spring Army and the channel will be able to weather through and come out the other side as fine as it was before, if not even better and more unified. And so with that, thank you so much once again for the support. I hope that does address the comment. And with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you once again.
And up next, a big shout out to Michael for putting in a $12 super chat without a comment. Thank you very much for your support. And up next, we have a $15 super chat from Warren Edgar Gillespie, who says, "No questions, just keep fighting for the right things. Slava Ukraine, Slava LSA, Slava Enforcer, Slava Matt." And thank you, Warren, very much for the high praise.
And thank you, Warren, for all of the Slavas, and also real quick, Slava Ukraini, Slava Enforcer, Slava Enforcer Mat, Slava Lee Spring Army. And so with that, thank you so much once again for the support, and I'm glad that you are supporting this channel, and we are going to keep up the good fight for as long as we can, as long as we don't have our kneecaps busted out again. And so with that, we are on to the next one, and thank you so much once again.
And up next, we have a $12 super chat from Axel K, who says, glad to see you're back, excuse me. And we also have a $10 super chat from Jack Ray, who also says the exact same thing.
And also, I want to thank both of y'all so much for your support, and I'm glad that y'all are enjoying that we are back, because we are back, baby, because that's literally what the stream is titled. And so with that, thank you so much for the support, and I'm glad that you are enjoying tonight's stream. And so with that, we are on to the next one, and thank you once again.
And next up, I want to recognize 4 $10 donations. We have one from Marcus Soul, Junebug with the 72 on the end, WL, and Eladio Rios, who all say, "Slava Ukraine, welcome back, and Slava Enforcers."
And thank you to all three of y'all so much for your support, and Slava Ukraini, Slava Enforcer, and Slava Enforcer Mat. And so with that, we are on to the next ones, and thank you so much to all three of y'all once again for backing up the Lee Spring Army, backing up this channel, and of course, supporting Ukraine. And so with that, we are on to the next one, and thank you once again.
All right, and we do have another super chat from NOYDB, who puts in a $12 donation, who says, "Apparently you know that if you can't read my messages, I will send you another one. Enforcer, please say the following like you mean it. What? I thought Putin was dead."
Oh, okay. What? I thought Putin was dead! And I hope that addresses that real quick. And thank you so much for the support once again, NOYDB. I'm sorry I didn't understand it the first time, but I hope that that one appeased you pretty well. And so with that, we are moving on to the next one. Thank you so much once again, NOYPD, for being so kind to us. And with that, we're on to the next one.
And I wonder what NOYDB is going to use that for. Is he going to take a snippet and use it in something? I wonder, because I'll just be curious to see. But anyways, up next we have our decoder of the stream. I think it was only WF2U who decoded it tonight, but we did have new Morse code. And he put in a $10 donation and said, "Enforcer and Enforcer Matt, welcome back. Number 1, the Lee Spring Army will never die. We are back from the dead and still going. And number 2, Leaf Springs never die. We will always remain on YouTube, undefeated."
And ding, 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 you got both of them correct. And thank you so much for deciphering those Morse code messages. And I hope that you have enjoyed tonight's stream. Of course, I mean what I put in those messages. And I think that we'll be on YouTube for till the end of time. And we'll be here reporting the news up until then. And so with that, thank you so much once again for the support. I hope that does address the comment. And with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you so much once again.
All right, and moving right along, excuse me. We have a $10 donation from Joey M, who says, "So glad to have you guys back. I've been watching nightly since week 1 or 2. Have you considered having James Vasquez as a guest on the show? It seems like he might be up for it when he's not busy in Ukraine."
We've been thinking about trying to get more guests on. We've had a really hard time trying to reach out to one of them. I'm not going to name him. but we've been trying to reach out to them forever. I've been in their live chat, I've been in their email. They have never responded to us, and I don't know why, but we're trying to get at least one new person on. But we will also try and consider James Vasquez as well in the future. And so with that, I hope that does address the question. I thank you so much for the support. And with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you so much once again.
And up next, I'm going to recognize a few more donations left without comments. We have a $10 super chat from Rotor Max, a $10 super chat from Caesar E. Lopez L. III. We also have one from Paolo Mayorani and Michael J. 4729. So thank you very much to all four of you for your support of the channel. And as always, we appreciate you all very much. And up next, we have a $10 donation from Jonesy, who says LSA forever and Slava Ukraine.
And LSA forever and Slava Ukraini, Jonesy. And I thank you so much for the support. And I'm glad that you have enjoyed this channel. And we're going to keep on going forever. As Paolo Mariani wants me to say, I'm the best of the best. My defense is impregnable. My offense is impenetrable. I'm the best of the best. Mike Tyson is back. The Enforcer is back. Everything's all good. Everything's great. And so with that, we're on to the next one. I hope y'all enjoyed Mike Tyson literally crawling out of my brain for just a couple of seconds. And so with that, we're on to the next one.
And Mike Tyson has made a return. Can you believe that? But anyways, I also want to give a shout out to Mark Hodges. He apparently also sent in the Morse code translation at the beginning of the stream, but I didn't catch it. But Mark, a big credit to you for also figuring it out. You, along with WF2U, always figure out our Morse code. So thank you for cracking it, and sorry I missed it. And also, let's see here. Getting a little behind in the chat. But anyways, up next, we have a $10 super chat from Jack Sparrow, who says, just got home. Did you cover the order from Putin? I haven't heard much about it.
Unfortunately, I don't think I have covered the order from Putin. I don't know which one that would be in particular, but if we can get the news on it, we will make sure to try and report that as soon as possible. But unfortunately, right now, I would have to declare ignorance on it because I haven't heard about it. But I do thank you for the support, and we will make sure to try and keep up on that situation and see if we can find some news to report on it in the future. And so with that, we are on to the next one, and thank you so much once again for the support.
And up next, we have a $10 super chat from Shannon O'Diet, I believe it said, who says, your hard work is appreciated. Interesting note, regardless of the casualty numbers you look at, the Russians have lost more in 6 months than they did in 10 years of fighting in Afghanistan. Slava Ukraine.
And that is true, and Slava Ukraini. And also, I would love to say thank you so much for supporting this channel and for giving us kind words. A lot of people have given us kind words tonight, and I know that this sounds like that comment I just said sounds kind of like a canned response at this point, but it does really mean a lot to us that people do enjoy this channel. It means a lot to me, because, you know, I could be out here making videos and all that stuff, and if no one really gave me any support on it, I'd feel like, am I doing really something that people like, that people enjoy? Should I be doing this? But y'all never leave a doubt in my mind that this is what we should be doing, and that y'all enjoy this and love it very much and want us to keep on doing it. And so with that, thank you so much once again for the support. I'm glad that you have enjoyed this channel so much and that you want us to keep on going. And so with that, I hope that does address the comment fairly well. And thank you so much for the support.
All right. And up next, we have another $10 super chat from Jack Sparrow, who says, we'll miss the stream tomorrow. Also, please don't stress yourself if you do make news videos as well.
And thank you so much for the support. And I do understand that overworking is a thing. We have done it before on the stream. That's why the short summary videos before were cut. But hopefully this time that wouldn't happen. I'm kind of an idiot. I'm kind of walking myself right back into as much work, if not more work, than I did before. But at the same time, I kind of want to do it because if I feel like the video format would be wildly successful, going off of what we saw on the 30th alone, that single video that we put up got 106,000 views, which is the first time that one of our news summaries has gotten more views than there are subscribers on this channel for a long time, for months at this point. And also the other thing about it is that it just brings in more people. It brought in like 600 subscribers on its own. And I would love to know that more people join this Lee Spring Army. And if they did enjoy it, that more people could find this kind of news. And so with that, I hope that does address the comment in a way. And thank you so much once again for the support.
All right. And up next, we have a $10 super chat from Mike P, who says, no need to read this. But anyways, Mike, I'm going to read it off anyway. he says, for your trouble, welcome back. I wondered if that was another Russian hacker attack. It'd be a great way to take down channels that report the truth.
I honestly don't think so, because this guy was really into the, like, Ukraine stuff. One thing, though, that was interesting to me is that this guy, I mean, like, if anyone, I'm not going to go into that, but looking at his channel, it was full of everything. It had stuff from Telegram, it had stuff from the government, it had stuff from everywhere. It had stuff from Telegram, TikTok, the government, Reddit, anywhere you could find a video, it was on there. And the funniest thing about that all is that with all these videos that he didn't actually make them. He just ripped them off somewhere on the internet, kind of like we do Reddit. We take our videos from Reddit for the most part. Some of them do come from Twitter, however. But this guy was going to sit there and instead of just saying, I've gotten these from sources, thank you so much to these people who made them, who are getting the information and the truth out to all of us where we can talk about it. Instead, he's going to go, this stuff is mine. And it's like, you don't own that. Like, you clearly don't. But anyways, with that, I thank you so much for the support. I hope that does address the comment in a way. And with that, we are on to the next one. I hope that addressed the comment fairly well.
And up next, we have a very generous $50 super chat from Yoli H, who says, welcome back, Enforcer and Enforcer Matt. Yay, and go Lee Spring Army. I like your honest approach and your Mike Tyson impersonation.
Oh, thank you so much for the support, Yoli H, and I'm glad that you do enjoy the Mike Tyson impersonation. It's kind of a mixed bag. Some people like it, some people don't. I'm just glad that some people do enjoy it, and tonight was a great night to just bring it back for a little bit. And also, I thank you so much for saying go Lee Spring Army, because not only does this channel have to go, but the entire army has to go with us. Whatever we do and wherever we go, the army is us and we are the army. And so I thank you so much for the support, and I thank you so much for enjoying that we are back, because it's been hell for me to not be here, and I'm glad that I am able to come back and able to do what I've been doing for 191 days. And so with that, we are on to the next one, and thank you once again.
All right, and moving right along, we have a $10 super chat from Turbo B18C1, who says, please let Operator Starsky know the LSA's appreciation. And Turbo, I mentioned it earlier, but I was actually over there on his live stream earlier, and I did tell him in the live chat how much we do appreciate his support through these trying times on our channel, and how much we appreciate him also running his own streams to inform the world about what's going on in Ukraine.
And also, I would like to say, yes, we do thank Operator Starsky incredibly. And also, we have a little bit of a hidden mention. Funker530 also gave us a shout out today. And I've even heard some people say that Mercado Media has also given us a shout out today as well. I haven't seen that one, but I will not doubt it for a minute that Mercado also backs us. And I've got to thank all of them, every single person out there who supported this channel during this time, for their support, and I hope that their support doesn't die now that we're running a live stream again, and that all of us, every single part of this community, pushes forward in getting these copyright strikes completely removed. The punishments have been lifted from what it seems, because we are streaming. According to the strike, they would forbid us from streaming if the strike was in full force, but apparently it's not anymore, because we have been allowed to stream, and we're here right now. So, hopefully it is being in the process of lifted, but still, I want those things gone. As of right now, if I refresh my dashboard page, let me check. They are still here. I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. So with that, I hope that does answer the comment in a way, and thank you so much for the support, and huge shout out to all of them who've supported us, especially Operator Starsky, who's been on this channel several times before. And with that, we are on to the next one.
All right, and moving right along, we have a $10 super chat from Turbo B18C1 once again, who says, NAFO, LSA, Operator Starsky, Enforcer Matt, and the Enforcer will not lose to the Russian trolls, Slav Ukraine, and Go Ukraine.
And thank you so much for the support. And no, none of us will be stopped by trolls, bots, or anyone trying to take down what we do. I have a mission, and if anyone's going to try and take me down, I don't understand why in the world they would even justify that. I'm the only person I know of on YouTube that runs fundraisers like we do. I try and make them as transparent and as clear as possible. And so in that regard, I don't know why anyone would try and take us down, because we make it very clear and very transparent exactly everything we do and how we do it. And so with that, thank you so much once again for the support. Thank you for backing us during this time. And I'm glad that you do enjoy these streams a whole bunch. And so with that, we are on to the next one, and thank you once again.
All right. And next up, we have a $9 super chat from Perger1, who does not leave a comment, but thank you very much for your support of the channel. And up next, we have a $5 donation from I3Lou, or I Blue, I think, something like that. They said, Houston, we have no problem tonight in LSA. And thankfully, we don't have any problems tonight, Houston.
And I'm glad that we don't have any problems tonight. I hope that we don't have any problems going on in the future. I hope that I can get back to uploading my videos and also doing my live streams daily. And also, I'm still going to keep working in the background. I hope you'll all help me with raising awareness, which I kind of feel is a cliche term these days, about what's happened to my channel and trying to get YouTube to remove those strikes. I've already outlined it to them multiple times that these strikes are not valid claims and that they need to be removed. And I'm going to be doing everything in my power to have them removed within the next few days. And I thank you all so much once again for backing us up. And hopefully I can keep on doing this without any problems in the meantime. And so with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you once again.
And up next, we have a $50 super chat from Magic Sky Girl, who says, Enforcers, you guys have handled this fiasco in such an impressive way. Kudos to you and all the behind-the-scenes folks. Stay positive and trust in the LSA. And also, Magic Sky Girl, thank you very much for the kind words. Hopefully, we have handled it in a pretty good way. It's just been a tough few days, but thank you very much for the support.
And I got to thank you so much, Magic Sky Girl, as well. I've tried to handle this the best way I can. At some points, I felt like I was completely losing my composure behind the scenes because it was freaking me out to think that someone could just come through and try and destroy everything I've done just because they want to. But I'm glad that you do think that we handled it well. I find that to be very kind of you to say. And also, I do want to give a huge shout out to everyone behind the scenes who has supported us during these times, every single one of y'all, including our viewers, because it's not just our Discord mods who have done a lot helping us out behind the scenes on our Discord, and also Matthew who helps me on the streams. All of y'all help us out in a huge way every single day, and I've got to thank you all so much for sticking with us, of course, always supporting us and helping us out whenever we need help, and always offering y'all's help, because sometimes we can't take everyone's offer for help, but I do notice that a lot of people always are offering up their assistance at any given time, and it's incredible to know that all of y'all are just so kind and so generous. And so with that, thank you so much once again to all of y'all for the support, and thank you so much to you as well, Magic Sky Girl, for supporting this channel through your super chat and also through your words. And with that, we are on to the next one, and thank you once again.
And also, for those of you asking, we have I would say, about 30 more super chats to go until we get to our live chat questions. So stick around. And up next, we have a $5 donation from Adrian's channel, who says, Yay, the Enforcer is back. Show those Russian trolls who's boss, LSA, and Aloha.
And that is, and I thank you so much for the support. And I would have to say, I do entirely back the statement that I'm glad that I'm back, and I'm glad that I'm able to keep doing this. And so with that, thank you so much once again for the support, and also LSA and Slava Ukraini. And with that, we are on to the next one, and thank you so much once again.
Slava Ukraine. But anyways, moving on to our next super chat, we have a $5 donation from Squamous Amos, who says, stoked.
And also, stoke. And I thank you so much for the support, and I'm glad that you were stoked that we are live again. Also, I saw someone say that apparently humans read the Twitter account for YouTube and tend to act quicker. And so if y'all could, everyone just go over there to the Twitter account on YouTube and say free enforcer or something like that. And you know, if you want to explain the situation, because I keep on getting brick walled whenever I keep on bringing this up. And honestly, I don't like that. I'm not happy with it. I want those things gone. I know I've done everything I can to find the proof and the backup to show that everything I did was perfectly fine, did not infringe on anyone's copyright, and I want those things gone. The punishments may be gone, but those things are still technically on my channel. I don't like that. And so if y'all want to help out as the Lee Spring Army, make sure to go over to YouTube's Twitter account and message them about this and try and get us a little bit of help in this matter. And so with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you so much once again for bringing that up, because I think that may be a way to get a little bit of progress done. And so with that, we are on to the next question.
All right. And next up, a big shout out to Graham 197103010 for putting in a $10 super chat without a comment. But thank you very much, Graham, for your support of the channel. And as always, we appreciate you very much. And up next, we have a $5 donation from Christy M, who says, feeling a big sigh of relief to see you guys back. The LSA is stronger than ever.
And thank you so much for the support. And I would have to say, I think the Lee Spring Army is stronger now than it's ever been too. I've never seen this many people support us at a time, and I think it's honestly wonderful. It's impressive to know that this is how it is. I'm trying to even come up with the words for it. I'm honestly at a loss, but I do have to say, I think that we are stronger now than we've ever been, and I think we'll continue to grow to be a more unified community and a very strong and cohesive community that cares for each other. And I think that's the most important thing, is that while I know that y'all all care for me, I find it wonderful that I've seen so many of y'all care for each other. I know that y'all sometimes have y'all's arguments, but y'all all come together and take care of each other. And I think this community is wonderful for the kindness that everyone shows to each other. You don't find nice people all over the world. Sometimes there's mean, nasty people out there. And I've never seen such a concentration of fine, wonderful people as all of you have been. And so with that, thank you so much once again for the support. I hope that does address the comment. And with that, we're on to the next one.
And up next, we have a $5 super chat from Mighty Right One, who says, glad you're back from the Irish division of the LSA.
And thank you so much for the support. And it's good to hear that the Irish division of the LSA is here. I was honestly thinking about trying to come up with some kind of official organization. When I say that, I mean like organization as in giving groups names, not like trying to create this into a militia, want YouTube to know.
Well, like the IRA?
No. I mean, like coming up with little names for little groups that people could assign themselves and be proud of, and we could make little mini identities within the Lee Spring Army. Like, for example, take a look at the household division in the United Kingdom. You have the Coldstream Guards, the Grenadier Guards, the Welsh Guards, the Scots Guards. You have, I believe, the Irish Guards, and they all have little identifying things about them. Their buttons on their tunics are a little bit different. Their emblems and symbols are a little bit different. And I would think that'd be a really cool idea, actually, to try and divide up the Lee Spring Army into little battalions, divisions, or I guess you could say, yeah, it's really battalions, divisions, brigades, whatever you like to call them, from around the world. Try and divide them up maybe in the U.S., maybe give the U.S. a couple of regions like the Southeast region. But one thing I think would be really cool is that even though we have all of those, I've always wanted to do this one. And this one kind of came to mind when I think of Zach Jeffers, who is always here representing our Discord. And I would love to have like a quote-unquote Discord guard. That's like our most active, most involved group is the people on Discord, and I would love to know that we had a special little like name and group for our Discord and call them like the Discord Guard or something. But with that, I hope that you'll find that little interesting idea kind of fun, and thank you so much once again for the support. And I hope that does kind of answer the question in a way for the Irish battalion of the Lee Spring Army. And so with that, we are on to the next one, and thank you once again.
And up next, we have a $5 super chat from Snowy, who says, welcome back, and a $5 donation from Smoke, and also another one from DL Hemingway.
And also, thank you to all of y'all so much for the support. And I hope that y'all all enjoy kind of addressing these in bulk. I hate to do that, but it's at the same time. How many do we have left, Matthew?
So we currently have about 25 more left.
Oh, so we actually don't have that many left. Not as many as I was thinking. But I got to thank you all so much once again for the support. And thank you all for backing this Lee Spring Army and always being here supporting this channel. And so with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you once again.
And up next, we have a $5 super chat from Stray Cat 241, who says, that channel that did it is gone. Was it even a real channel?
It was. I can promise you that. And also,
it definitely was. They had quite a few subscribers, actually.
Yes, they did. And we're not going to name them because I'm not trying to cause, like people to just go insane and turn into a mob or anything. But they didn't have rights to what they were claiming they had to copyright to. It's like, if you want to go with a YouTube term, it's misidentification. it's not even misidentification. It's them just blatantly lying about their own copyright to the stuff. They don't have a copyright to it. So with that, I hope that does address the comment in a way. And thank you so much once again for the support.
All right. And next up, we have a $5 donation from Natasha Zdanov. Then we have a $5 donation from Benjamin Rude, Ole Wolansky, Heather Fitzgibbon, and Squamous Amos. And a big thanks to all of you for your support of the channel. And Enforcer, would you like to add anything to that?
Now, I heard two names in there I know very well. Squamous Amos and Heather Fitzgibbon?
Fitzgibbon, yes.
Yes, I was, for some reason I was thinking Fitzgerald. I think I was thinking about F. Scott Fitzgerald. But I got to thank all of y'all for your support. And also specifically Squamous Amos and Heather Fitzgibbon, who have been around forever. And I got to thank you all so much for being Lee Spring Army soldiers and for sticking with us. Tonight is pretty much victory day on this channel because we've survived what I thought was almost going to be unsurvivable, and the Army has made it through. And so with that, thank you so much once again. I hope that does address the comment. And with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you once again.
And up next, we have a $25 super chat from Tony Ania, who says, "Bless your good hearts, Enforcer Matt. Have much faith in y'all and the LSA. You all have done such an amazing job over these last days of this war. Huzzah and LSA strong."
And huzzah! And thank you so much for the support. And I thank you so much for those kind words. It does mean a lot to us. And I thank every single one of y'all for supporting this channel thick and thin through everything we've had to go through to keep reporting this news. And so with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you so much once again for the support.
All right. And next up, we have a $10 super chat from KPX1138, who says, "So glad to see the Enforcers back and going strong. Slava Ukraine and Slava LSAF."
And also, thank you so much for the support, and Slava Ukraini and Slava Lee Spring Army Air Force, I think that would be. So with that, thank you for the support, and also coming up with a new branch of the Lee Spring Army. And so with that, we're on to the next one, and thank you once again.
And up next, we have a $5 donation from Ruben Aragon, who says, "Enforcer Matt, how are you feeling, brother? Last live stream, I remember you were a little under the weather. By the way, my 5-year-old says, yeehaw! Welcome back, boys." And Ruben, I'm actually feeling much better today, but for some reason, I still feel like there's something lingering around. I'm not sure exactly what I've got. Just a low-grade fever yesterday, but it's all good. Nothing major. But thank you for asking as well. And also, that's pretty cool. Your 5-year-old says yeehaw. That would be also pretty cool if that was like the first words your kid ever said was yeehaw. That would be a hell of an honor. But thank you very much for the support. And thank you for the welcome back. And it's very good to be back as well. So thank you very much for that. And Enforcer, would you like to add anything?
Yes, I would. I'd like to thank you so much for the support. And also, that is really cool. Like Matty said, that your baby kid says "yeehaw." Like, I wonder if that's something that they've done recently or what. But I do thank you for the support.
Although he is 5, he is 5.
That's probably not his first words then. But I do thank you for the support, and I do like that that he's saying "yeehaw." That's kind of weird, but I like it. So with that, thank you so much once again for the support, and I hope your kid grows up to be a bright, intelligent boy. It sounds like since he's already saying yeehaw, he watches this channel a lot. So hopefully
he's on a good start. He's on a good start.
Hopefully we're contributing to his education in a small way. And so with that, I thank you so much once again. It's really cool to hear that your kid does say yeehaw. And with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you once again.
And next up, we have a $5 donation from Shade the Night Wing, who says, "You both are legends for doing what you're doing and keep up the great work. And thank you very much for the high praise as well."
And thank you for the high praise. I do think that we're doing some pretty good work, and I thank you so much for enjoying it and helping us to keep on going with it. And so with that, I hope that does address the comment, and thank you so much once again for your kind support. And with that, we are on to the next one, and thank you once again.
And the next one goes to Ukraine F. Putin, who puts in a $5 donation and says, "What weapon is more important to Ukraine, the Bayraktar or the HIMARS?"
I would say the HIMARS would be more important. The Bayraktar is great, but the HIMARS can actually be used to strike ammo depots without the risk of being destroyed itself, considering that it can fire off its missiles from well behind the lines where it can't be fired at at least immediately, and can then scoot away before the artillery fire is able to fire back at it and hit ammo depots deep within the country. A Bayraktar is great, but at the same time, it can show up on radar and can be shot down before it gets in range of an ammo depot. So in that regard, I would have to say the HIMARS is a little bit more important, especially for the front line situation, considering almost this entire war is fought on the ground. And so with that, I hope that does address the comment away, at least my opinion, so take it with a grain of salt. But with that, thank you so much for the support, and I hope that does answer the question, at least a little bit. And with that, we are on to the next one.
And with that, we're going to recognize a $5 super chat from Blue Neptune, who says, "Don't let Tube control your destiny. Welcome back." And sadly, Blue Neptune, we're at their mercy, so I'm not sure if we can control that.
And that's pretty true. We're kind of at YouTube's mercy. If they just decide something, we kind of have to go with it. I'm not going to go into the details of what I'm trying to think about doing with the copyright strikes, but at this point, considering that we've gotten a lot of evidence to show that the stuff was falsely claimed, it's clear at this point, probably going to try and have something done where they're definitely taken down. I don't want those things standing. Those things are standing until November 28th and 29th, 90 days from now. And it's wrong for me to have those strikes on my channel when we did nothing wrong. We did nothing wrong at all. One was entirely fair use. 100%. It reached the definition of it through and through. And we got a copyright strike for it. The other one was made by the Ukrainian government, and so it's public domain. And we got a copyright strike for that. And it's clear that these things are not supposed to be here. And at this point, I'm just bent and determined on making sure that these wrongs are righted, and we don't have these on our channel for long. But with that, I thank you so much for the support, and I hope that does address the question fairly well. And so with that, we are on to the next one, and thank you once again.
And up next, we have a $40 super chat from Foiling Frenzy, who says, "You don't know what you miss until it's gone. Thank goodness you guys are back. Slava copyright law, Slava the enforcer, Slava Ukraine. Welcome back," from John in Australia.
Well, I thank you so much for the support, Foiling Frenzy. And also, I'm glad that you are enjoying tonight's stream, and I'm glad that you are happy that we are back, because I'm happy to be back. The copyright law stuff, I know that a lot of people think that copyright laws are pretty messed up, and honestly, I'd have to agree. Copyright laws are messed up in this country really around the world for a lot of reasons. But one thing that I find incredibly messed up is how people on YouTube can make malicious claims about copyright infringement on things that they don't even have to prove they own. Because the copyright laws on YouTube ought to work under a premise of you're innocent until proven guilty, but YouTube works under the principle that if you have a claim that you're using copyrighted material, you're guilty until proven innocent, and then they don't even listen to your information hardly when you can prove you're innocent, like we can right now. They lifted the punishments for some reason, but they have not lifted the official strikes, and I want them lifted. That's not right. It's not right at all. And I think that, honestly, if someone is going to sit there and say, I have copyrighted material, they need to prove it's actually theirs. It can't just be on their channel, because like in this guy's instance, he ripped this stuff off of other areas of the internet, from a Twitter and from Telegram, and then put them on his channel and claim them to be his own. And that's no copyright by any means. So with that, I hope that kind of clears that out in a way about the copyright. But moving on from that, Slava the Enforcer, Slava Ukraini, welcome back, John from Australia. And so with that, that answers the question, and we're on to the next one.
And up next, we have a $5 super chat from Krister Peterson, who says, "Slava Ukraine and Slava LSA." And Krister, thank you very much for your continued support of the channel, and thank you for being around for a very long time. And up next, we have a $5 donation from Compound David once more, who says, "News show followed by a live wrap-up show."
Ooh, man, I mean, that would be stretching way late into the night. I'd have to probably have a second cup of busy to do that, but maybe, it would depend on how quickly I could wrap up these streams nightly. I would probably have to start putting a time cap on this to get to a summary video, but it could be possible. I think, honestly, though, right now, when I'm eyeballing, is that my conversational videos that I was making a little bit ago, like where I was talking about like what's going on in Kherson with the bridges and why Russian tanks are old and stuff like that, those would probably be replaced by news summaries that were about 30 minutes to an hour long. But then again, I don't know. You know, like I'm still trying to figure out how to work that, but I'll try and figure out the best way to get it done so that way we can all have our cake and eat it. That's what I'm into. I'm into having a cake and eating it. Why in the world would you have a cake and not eat it? That phrase doesn't even make any sense. Anyways, with that, thank you so much for the support. I hope that does address the comment. And with that, we are on to the next one.
And also, real quick, this is for Shanna, by the way, who says, Decoy, happy second from your law nerd. So, there you go. So, Shanna, there you go. I hope you're happy. And now moving on, we have a $5 super chat from Brian Miras, who says, welcome back, my boy. Glad to have you back. Blank the haters.
Also, I thank you very much for saying my boy.
My boy.
SpongeBob, me boy, welcome back. But anyway, thank you for the support, and I'm glad that you are happy that we're back. I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to be addressing your live chat live on stream, and I'm just happy to be here. It's wonderful to be back, and I'm just really soaking it in right now that we are having a wonderful time on stream, every single one of us. And so with that, thank you so much once again for the support. I hope that does address the comment. And with that, we are on to the next one, and thank you so much once again.
And up next, we have a $5 super chat from Yuri Bench, who says, I was worried for a few days.
Well, I was actually incredibly worried for a few days because I was looking at our channel almost being destroyed by this guy for no good reason, and that worried me a lot. It really did. It freaked me out. I was scared shitless. I was just sitting over here freaking out the whole time, and I'm glad that at least for now it seems that it's over, and hopefully I can get these copyright strikes formally removed where they are not on our channel anymore. And with that, I thank you so much once again for the support. I hope that does address the comment, and with that, we are on to the next one, and thank you once again.
And up next, we have a $5 super chat from Kieran Whitfield, who says, come on, LSA.
And also, come on, LSA! And thank you so much for the support. And I don't know what that's in reference to, but I do back it up. And so with that, we are on to the next one, and thank you once again.
And next up, we have a $5 super chat from Richie MC, who says, Melavora Kepensis.
I don't know what that means, but I do thank you for the support. And with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you once again.
And up next, we have a $5 super chat from Turbo B18C1, once again, who says, can we get Operator Starsky back as a thank you for his help?
We could. I'll actually reach out to him and see if he would be willing to do that this Sunday. Hopefully nothing happens in between now and Sunday. I don't know. You know, because right now, while the punishments have been lifted and we're here, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I don't know if YouTube's going to backtrack or what, but hopefully I'll have all of this dealt with before that can even come into play, and hopefully the copyright strikes will be gone. Remember, please help me out. Please reach out to YouTube's Twitter account and everywhere you can, so that way we can try and have this situation resolved as soon as possible. I'll still be working behind the scenes as much as I can to try and have these things gone, because one thing that I don't like is that someone could make another fake claim like that within 90 days of now, and our channel will have a 7-day countdown put onto it where we will be deleted, or we'll have to try and address those copyright strikes, and based off of what I'm dealing with right now, YouTube wouldn't deal with them. And so with that, I hope that does address the comment, and I thank you so much once again for the support. And with that, we are on to the next one, and thank you once again.
And up next, we have a $5 donation from Turbo B18C1, once again, who says, Enforcer Matt, glad you're back, and I hope you are feeling better. Can the LSA get a yes, sir? And yes, sir, you can. And also, I am feeling better, as I mentioned earlier, but something is still lingering around. So hopefully it's not COVID, but if it is, it'll be all good. I've got a pretty good immune system. But thank you very much, Turbo, for asking, and thank you for your support. And up next, we have a $5 donation from Surge something. I'm not sure how to say it. Who says, hi, the Enforcer, and hello, everyone. Huge hi from the Ukrainian Society of Bloggers. Thanks for your work, and glory to Ukraine.
And thank you so much for the support. I'm glad that you do enjoy this channel a lot. And also, if you're part of the Ukrainian Bloggers Society, could you reach out to them and also have them start a campaign to try and have these copyright strikes lifted from my channel? I would like to go into a lot of detail about it, but I can just promise you that if I did show y'all the supposed copyrighted videos, y'all will be able to clearly see, because we have a trail to back up exactly where each one of them came from, that neither of them were from that guy for him to claim copyright on them. Because, just in case y'all don't know, if y'all file a copyright claim on YouTube on the form, because I went to the form because I have access to one and I read it, you have to check off on a box saying that this content is solely mine. It's no one else's, it's mine. So you can't file a copyright claim for someone else on their behalf. It has to be your own work that you're filing for, or an attorney can file it for you. That's the only other exception. And this guy went and completely lied on that form, and YouTube, I'm guessing, you know, since his channel's gone now, I'm guessing that they actually took action against him for doing something like that, but at the same time, they're still keeping the copyright strikes on me, which makes no sense. But with that, I hope that does kind of address that a little bit, and thank you once again for the support.
All right, and up next, we have a $10 super chat from Kevin Scott 76, who says, continuing Grandpa's World War II story, after he wrote his wife, I saw a U.S. officer at a table with 4 U.S. Sadly, I can't say that term on stream because YouTube will really come down and get us. Nurses and a colored doctor. Wasn't that odd? It would be swell if you were here.
Interesting. I don't know what that means, but I do thank you for the support. And with that, we are on to the next one.
All right, and next up, we have a $5 donation from Turbo B18C1, yet once again, who says, Enforcer Matt, thank you for reaching out to Starsky today. I was in and out of Starsky's live stream. I found Starsky because of the Enforcer. And that is quite good indeed, and hopefully, I think the Enforcer said he's going to try to get him on Sunday. So, is that correct, Enforcer? Did I hear right?
I will try. I will reach out to him. One thing though is that Starsky does work a pretty strict schedule, and I don't know if he will be able to come on, but we will see if he can. We haven't had him on in a long time. We've been wanting a guest star on, and who better to have than Starsky? He's been on before, and our channel, his channel and my channel are kind of symbiotic in a way. A lot of subscribers on our channel have come from his, and we have sent a decent, I don't know how many, but we've sent a decent amount his way. And so with that, I thank you so much for the support. I hope that does address the comment in a way. And with that, we're on to the next one.
And we have another super chat from Turbo, who says, LSA, after the stream, let's show YouTube on Twitter, we back at the Enforcer.
And also, thank you so much for the support, Turbo, and I do agree with that completely. I think that the Army should mobilize, and we should make sure to have these false claims lifted as soon as possible. It's wrong that this guy did this, and it's wrong that YouTube is apparently taking action against him for it, but they haven't lifted the punishment from me. If they're going to sit there and say that this guy was wrong or something and then get rid of his channel for it, why in the world would they not lift the punishment from the person who was wrongfully accused? It doesn't make any sense, because you don't sit there and go, oh, you know, like in a U.S. court, you don't sit there and go, oh, well, it looks like we actually put the wrong guy in prison for murder. Well, we're just going to keep him in prison now until his sentence is served. You don't do that. You sit there and go and we'll say, well, we're sorry, you're out of prison now. That's what you would do. So with that, thank you for the support, Turbo, and I highly support people doing that. I think that everyone should reach out to YouTube and let them know what's happened and try and get them to reverse this, because clearly there's no backing, no real validity to these guys' claims. And so with that, we're on to the next one, and thank you once again.
And up next, a big shout out to Ray Friesland for putting in a $5 super chat, as well as KMC for putting in a $3 super chat, Junebug for putting in a $2 super chat, and Zaphod's Blue Car for putting in a $2 super chat, and finally a $1 super chat from Joseph B. So thank you very much to all of you for your support. As always, we'd love it if y'all left a comment to recognize your support, but we appreciate it nonetheless, and thank you very much for that support. And moving right along, we have another super chat from Turbo, who puts in a $5 donation and says, this Sunday is going to be lit. LSA, let's go. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir! 100, laughing face, smiling face. I thank you so much for the support, Turbo, and I thank you so much for backing up this channel. It means a lot to me, and I'm glad that you are looking forward to what we have coming up, because we are cooking up some good stuff in the background. And so with that, I thank you so much once again, and we are on to the next one.
And big shout out to Ashley Richardson, excuse me, for putting in a $10 super chat to the channel without a comment. And thank you very much, Ashley, for your support. And I think that might be the first time that you were actually putting in support. So thank you very much for that, and welcome to the LSA if it is one of your first times doing so. And Enforcer, would you like to add anything?
And I would like to thank you so much for the support. You didn't leave a question, but I do thank you for the support. It does help this channel to keep running, and it shows that you do support our channel and what we do, which means a lot to me. And so with that, I thank you so much for the support to this channel. And with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you once again.
And up next, we have a $5 super chat from Richie MC, who says, the Enforcer or membership to the channel in the near future, ? Personal Enforcer and Enforcer Matt emoji as well.
And also, thank you for the support. And did he say an Enforcer and Enforcer Matt emoji?
Yes, and he also wants to know if you're ever going to do memberships on the channel.
Sadly, we will not do memberships. We are considering a Patreon because, you know, I mean, like YouTube stuff. And also, we would like to be able to, you know, have it where people who just watch our videos alone, if they would like to support the channel and they don't come on a live stream or anything, they could support the videos through the Patreon. You know, that's kind of what I'm thinking about right now. But we don't really want to do memberships because honestly, in my opinion, this is just me, I think it makes live chats look a little tacky. And I just don't really like it much, honestly. And also, I don't like when you click on it, it pops up in the bottom corner of a viewer's screen. You want to join membership? Because it seems like you're almost harassing people at that point. And I would rather like people to support our channel on their really own free will, more so than feel like they're kind of being, you know, pestered by our channel, poked and prodded by us to have them support us. And so with that, I hope that does answer the question. And thank you so much once again for the support. And with that, we are on to the next one.
All right. And next up, we have a $5 super chat from Rite of Passage, who says LSA, Slava Ukraine, and glory to the heroes.
And also, thank you for the support and Slava Ukraini and glory to the Lee Spring Army. I know you said glory to the Enforcer, but I think that the glory is deserving of every single one of y'all. Every one of y'all. Right now, actually, if I check the figure, we have 98,052 subscribers on this channel. That's a lot. That's a lot of them. Jeez. And I thank every single one of y'all so much for y'all's support and for sticking with us through and through. And so with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you once again.
And up next, we have a $5 super chat from Senpai Arigato, who says, Enforcer, what YouTube did to you is like them letting you out of prison, but still keeping the felony charge on the record. And yes, it is quite like that. And it's also, it's like what happened to due process. So where'd that go?
Yeah, that's one thing I have to say. And, you know, at the beginning point, when we got the first copyright strike, because I honestly didn't know how to check where it came from at that point. And I've seen some people asking, well, how does he really know whose channel did this? Well, it tells me. It tells me exactly what channel said it, what their video was that they say they, you know, own, and all that stuff. And so I got to take a really good look at this guy's channel, and I did as much research as I could. He even sent out a thing over Discord to people saying, hey, this is one of the particular copyrighted videos. I need y'all to find the source of this. And we found the source, and it was from the People Deputies of Ukraine, of Ukraine's Facebook page. So it's definitely not this guy's material, because on top of that, Roman Kostenko shows up in the video. So it's his video. You know, that's just how it works. So I don't know why. And also, it was made by the Ukrainian government. He was a Ukrainian government official making a video on behalf of the Ukrainian government. Therefore, it's public domain for that reason. So this guy went through a guy who had like 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, who didn't have any rights to this video. He ripped it off of that Facebook page, put it on his channel, and claimed it to be his own work. Watches it on our channel, and then goes, "Oh, you're infringing on my copyright." We weren't, how in the world are we infringing on his copyright when it's a public domain video that was made by Roman Kostenko and not him? You know, that all that right there was just messed up. So yes, I do agree with you. It's like letting me out of prison, but still keeping the felony charges around. And so with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you once again.
And up next, we have a $5 super chat from Brenda Mather, who says, I found you through Starsky, and I love you guys. Slava Ukraine, Heart, Canada.
And also, Thank you for the support, Brenda Mather. I'm glad she found us through Starsky because it was an incredibly fun time having him on stream. But due to his busy schedule, it became more and more difficult to slot him in because, like we didn't know if he would be on or not sometimes. But we are going to see if we can have him back on because a lot of y'all enjoyed him being here, and I enjoyed it too. And I want to try and make a Dream Team live stream one day where we have everyone on. If y'all have ever seen the movie Big Fish, when the old man's dying and they're taking him to the river, I want it to be like that. I want everyone that does anything on YouTube about Ukraine on this channel at a single time. And so with that, I thank you so much for the support, and I hope that does address the comment fairly well.
All right, and up next we have yet another super chat from Magic Sky Girl, who puts in a very generous $50 donation once more, and says, sorry to keep you up later, really, but thanks for hanging in there. I can imagine the emotional roller coaster you've been all this week. I think I'll organize a YouTube protest, LOL.
And thank you so much for the support, Magic Sky Girl, and I'm glad that you will be spearheading one of the protests for us. I would rather it not be a protest, but more of like a, well, yeah, I guess it would be a protest. I guess that's what it'd be called. But I do thank you so much for the support, and I'm glad you will be spearheading one of your own, and it has been a huge emotional roller coaster for me. I sat here last night when I was typing up that message on the YouTube channel, the community post about I wouldn't be streaming for the first time ever, and it was completely out of my control. And I sat there and I just started to cry because everything was out of my control at that point. We couldn't upload a video, we couldn't upload a stream. I had been screwed over by some guy who had been completely lying on us. YouTube wasn't listening to me. They're still not really listening to me, although they lifted the punishment. And it's really been an emotional roller coaster for me, and I'm just glad to be back. And so with that, I hope that does address the comment, and thank you so much once again, Magic Sky Girl, for the support, and I hope that we can all collectively get these copyright strikes lifted off this channel. And so with that, we are on to the next one, and thank you so much once again.
And Enforcer, I think for the first time in a long time, we're actually going to probably put a cutoff on the super chat so we do have time to get to a few of our live chat questions, if that's okay with you.
How many do we have left?
Super chat wise, we have about 7 left.
All right, so with that, y'all aren't gonna believe it. This is an ancient right that this channel had a long time ago. We're gonna have to put a cap on the super chats tonight. The support from all of y'all has been absolutely incredible, and I have to actually go through the speech like I used to almost 100 days ago when we used to do caps. I thank you all so much for the support, but unfortunately, due to the amount of super chats we've gotten tonight, if someone puts in a super chat beyond this point, we wouldn't be able to address it due to time reasons. So with that, if you would like to send in a super chat, please send it in on tomorrow's stream, or send it after the stream as a super thanks if you would just like to support the channel, or go to our merch store where we're selling merchandise. You can get something cool out of it. You can get like a t-shirt or something and still support this channel. We're also running a limited edition Lee Spring merch run. It's actually the Lee Spring Army's symbol, Stoffel the Honey Badger, which was made by 6022 1023rd, who is an we want to make sure their identity remains anonymous, but they did go by that pen name, and I want to thank them so much for their support and letting us use that as a symbol of this Lee Spring Army. They are the Betsy Ross of this organization, of this channel, and I've got to thank them so much for the contribution that they've made, because it is certainly an addition to the Lee Spring Army's culture. And so with that, thank you so much once again for the support. I hope that does address the comment, and with that, we are on to the next question. I actually addressed a super chat to a non-existent super chat, but thank you so much once again, and we are now going to move on into the remainder of our super chats for the night, and then our live chats.
And real quick, there was actually one more super chat that came in that we'll recognize before we start with the cutoff, which will be from Ashley Richardson, who put in a $10 donation, who says, here is the pause donation, LSA.
And I thank you so much for the pause donation, Ashley, and we will make sure to take that to heart. And so with that, we are on to the next one, and thank you once again.
And next up, we have a $5 super chat from Blue Neptune, who says 98,000 people equals a 2 fully packed football stadiums. Envision that.
And that is crazy when you think about it. I always try and think about the scale of the Lee Spring Army and how big it is and how big it would be in person. And it's absolutely insane to me that we've grown to this size. You know, like some people out there just dream of getting to close to 100,000 subs. And right now we're sailing towards it. I mean, like, we're almost just 4,000 away right now. And I can't wait to reach 100,000. Hopefully, because of the copyright strikes, well, hopefully not because of the copyright strikes, we get a plaque. I don't know if, since we have copyright strikes now, YouTube won't give us a plaque. But when we reach 100,000 subscribers, I would love to see a little silver plaque. That would just kind of be like, I guess, the thanks I would look for from YouTube for doing what we've done, because it's a neat little thing to get. It's just cool looking. And so with that, thank you so much for the support. I hope that does address the comment. And with that, we are on to the next one.
And up next, we have a $2 super chat from CA Lags, who says, "That's for my withdrawal symptoms."
Well, thank you for the support, CA Lags, and I hope that you have enjoyed tonight's stream and that it's fixed your withdrawals. And so with that, we are on to the next one, and thank you once again.
And up next, and also to answer our moderator, Crazy Boy's question, he said to both of us, "How long until you do an IRL event, LOL?" That'll be something if we actually do an in real life event. I don't know even where we would do that, but maybe in Ukraine one day, or outside of Ukraine, maybe in Poland or something.
Maybe.
Maybe so. Maybe one day. But interesting question. But up next, we have a $2 donation from Gigi, who says, "You are back. So proud of you both." And thank you very much, Gigi, for the support and high praise.
And also, thank you so much for the support, Gigi, and I'm glad that you are happy we're back. It does mean a lot to me, and it helps us to keep this channel running, that you're supporting us and helping us to keep going even after what we've been through. And so with that, we are on to the next one, and thank you once again.
And up next, we have a $2 super chat from Matthew Clevenger, who says, "You all need a rumble. When will we see the M270s?"
We have seen the M270s already in Ukraine. It's just that we don't see them often. One viewer in the live chat, I just saw it a second ago, they said that it most likely is because they're not as mobile as a HIMARS, so they can't cover as much ground as normal, and that may be why we don't see them a lot. But we do know that they're there, and there is picture and video evidence of their existence. And so with that, we are on to the next one. I hope that answers that one pretty well, and thank you once again.
All right, and moving right along here. Up next, we have a $3 super chat from Digital Blood Deca, who says, "You guys are the best. Here's some coffee money."
Well, thank you for the support. I thank you for the coffee money too, and we will make sure to drink as much coffee as we can as we keep this thing going until the end of time. And so with that, thank you so much once again. I hope that does address the comment. And with that, we are on to the next one.
And up next, Chris Webb puts in a $2 donation and also says coffee fund.
And thank you so much as well for the coffee fund. We're going to be drowning in coffee beans here in a bit. So with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you once again.
And folks, for our final super chat of the night, it goes to Greg Sheely, who puts in a $2 donation and says, "Welcome back. So snappy to have you back."
And thank you so much for being happy that we're back. And I'm so happy that I'm able to talk to all of y'all and tell y'all that I'm glad to have y'all back too. And so with that, we are now going to move into the live chats for the night. And also, I would just like to remind everyone that there has been a cutoff on the super chats for the night. There's been a lot of them. We thank you so much, everyone, for your support. But we can't take any more of them because we always want to make sure that we can answer live chat questions. And so we want to make sure to give them a little bit of room to have their questions answered too. And so with that, we're now going to move into the live chats. And so with that, what do we got, Matthew?
All right. And first up from the live chat, we have a question from Greaser Bub, the original, who says, "Did you see the report that I think you meant to say 100,000 North Koreans may join the Russian army?" And are they still seriously saying that, junk? Like, are they seriously saying that they're going to bring in 100,000 from North Korea?
I don't know. I remember seeing the original news post where the guy hypothetically said, think about it, like he said that, but I haven't seen anything beyond that to really confirm it. And on top of that, I don't think the North Koreans would send anything like that because logistically they probably wouldn't be able to support it and the Russians wouldn't either. So with that, I hope that answers the question in a way. And with that, we are on to the next one.
And up next, we have a question from Duncan VR, who says, "Question for the enforcer. How long would a Russian military chopper last against an American F-35?
A Russian chopper could probably, depending on what kind, of course, because some have different countermeasure and defense systems than others, A chopper could probably survive against an F-35 as long as it was able to stay out of sight. As long as it was able to stay out of visual sight, unless if there was an AWACS or something that was picking it up in the distance and, through data link, the F-35 was being told exactly where it was, it could survive then. But as soon as it got in sight and the F-35 saw it, it would be dead pretty much on the spot. So with that, I hope that answers the question in a way. Once again, based largely on opinion and assumption, because we don't really have a lot of public information about the F-35. But with that, we are on to the next one.
All right. And up next, we have a question from MJ, who says, can you guys address the CEO from Lukoil flew out a window? And did he fly out of a window or did he fall out of a window?
The CEO...
I believe I can fly.
Oh, Lukoil. Let's see. Lukoil. Here we go. CEO of a Russian company dies in fall from a hospital window.
Now, what if YouTube copyrights us for me singing that little bit right there? That would be messed up.
I think they... let's see if we can actually read one that doesn't make us pay. The death of Ravel Naganov, chairman of the Russian oil giant Lukoil, at a hospital in Moscow on Thursday, appears to mark the 8th time this year that a Russian energy executive has died suddenly and under unusual circumstances. So, I would say, here's the guy right here. He probably got thrown out that window. That's all I can say. So with that, I hope that answers the question, and we're on to the next one.
All right. And next up, we have a question from Cynthia Rodriguez, who says, Enforcer, is it true about the stealing of American-sent supplies by Ukrainian?
As far as I know, that's not true. It wouldn't make a lot of sense for the Ukrainians to be stealing these supplies, because what in the world do you do with a stolen HIMARS? It's not like you can sell it, because you can't get it back out of the country, because you can't get it out through the ports. The ports are closed off. The only way you could get that HIMARS back out of Ukraine is to literally ship it back through a NATO country's borders, like Romania, Poland, Slovakia, Hungary. And then a lot of questions would be raised about, wait a minute, why is a HIMARS coming back this way? And a lot of customs inspections would be done to figure out what's really happening there. So I don't believe that for a minute, because logically, there would be no way to actually sell that and make any money off of it or have any benefit from stealing that stuff in the first place. So with that, I hope that answers the question, and we are on to the next one.
And up next, we have a question from Duncan VR once again, who says, question, who is worse, Hitler or Putin?
Well, it's really hard for anyone to, it's actually, believe it or not, it's not that hard to trump Hitler, at least in terms of the amount of people killed. You could look at Stalin, who killed more people. You could look at Mao Zedong, Mao Zedong, who killed more people than Hitler. You can look at, really, if you even want to make it a bit of a stretch, you could kind of look at Hideki Tojo, who was kind of, I guess you could say, the leader of Japan in the Second World War, because they killed off millions of Chinese people then. And so, I don't know. Honestly, in terms of the amount of people killed, there are a lot of people who are worse than Hitler. And right now, I would have to say that Putin's really close to being Hitler, if not worse, and getting more towards in the area of Stalin or Mao. So with that, I hope that answers the question. Wait, also, Hat Guy brought up Pol Pot. And I know he's not brought up a lot, but that guy literally killed 1/4 of Burma's population. Did you know that, Matthew?
I did not, actually.
I believe, if I remember the story correctly, Pol Pot had almost every single male in between the ages of 18 and 56 killed in Burma, which ended up killing around 1/4 of the entire population.
I did not know that at all.
Yeah, he was a pretty
bad.
Yeah, he was a pretty messed up guy too. And then there's Leopold. Oh, wow, I'm about to go through all of them. There's Leopold II, who killed millions of Africans in the Congo. If y'all don't know about that, pull it up. That's when Belgium got the Congo for free because no one else wanted it. Well, really, King Leopold got it. Belgium didn't get it. He did. There's just loads of people, honestly, who killed more people than Hitler did, but Hitler's known as being a real sick, twisted one, because his killings weren't really just about political dissenters or anything like that. It was about specifically a certain group, and he would kill everyone, regardless of whether they were women, children, or anywhere in between. Usually, as far as I know, the Russians would try and make a dissertation in between the kids, and the adults. and really everyone kind of tried to, except for Mal, because the great lead forward just ended up killing everyone who starved to death. But the Germans, on the other hand, were just kind of sick with that kind of stuff. So I guess they kind of looked at worse for that reason. And also, it is pretty sick. All of them, honestly, are pretty sick people. But, Hitler's the one that sticks out the most because it seemed like his sickness was the most concentrated. Anyways, with that, we are on to the next one. We're going to move off of all the wicked dictators of history.
All right, and up next we have a live chat question from Dog Whistle 88, who says, "Enforcer, what do you think of Bald and Bankrupt getting banned from Russia?" And personally, for me, I think that's something else. And also, it's really sad that Bald and Bankrupt is calling it quits on his channel. I think he announced that a day or two ago, but that probably played a part in his decision, I'd imagine.
And I got to say this real quick, because I know that some people say that Bald and Bankrupt is like a pro-Russian or something like that. Bald and Bankrupt didn't pick, as far as I could tell from watching his videos, a side in this war. He decided to be neutral because he has more of an affinity for Soviet things than the modern day countries, and so he really liked Ukraine. He liked Russia, Belarus, the Baltic states, Kazakhstan, any of the Stan series countries. Anywhere really that had former Soviet stuff in it. That was his thing. And he was an incredibly entertaining guy to watch. I enjoyed all of his content. He really showed people what normal life was like within former Soviet countries, which sometimes was incredibly desperate looking, incredibly sad, but he also showed the niceness of people and the goodness that is in every single society in the world. Because while the Russians are bad people now, you've got to remember that there are nice people in Russia. There people are people across the entire world. It's just that we're seeing the worst of the Russians, and we're seeing that the worst people in Russia are leading the country into believing misguided things. But there's nice people out there everywhere, and Bald and Bankrupt made it his effort to try and show every former Soviet country, including Ukraine, in a good light. And I think it is really messed up that he got banned from being in Russia. From what it sounded like, he got kicked out on trumped up charges. And that was terrible, honestly. It didn't make a lot of sense. It ended his entire channel pretty much because that was his thing. And so with that, I hope that does address the comment in a way, the question. And also, I saw someone say that Bald was against the war, and I would have to say he didn't really make it incredibly clear, but it did seem like he was very against the war. And one does have to remember that during the Battle of Kyiv, in his defense, when he boarded that train to leave, he helped as many people to get on that train as he could. They filled that train car over capacity thanks to some of his efforts. And y'all do have to remember that he, even if he was neutral, was just trying to be as nice as he could to everyone, show everyone in a good light, and help out where he could. So I can't really blame him too much, and I really hate that something like that's happened to him, because he didn't do anything but, in Russia's defense, try and show Russian people in a good light. And he was the only one on YouTube, I think, who would even do that right now. He just tried to show what normal people lived like there. And so with that, we're now going to move on to the next question. I hope that answers that one kind of okay. And that's, of course, in my opinion. And also, I see a lot of people coming in into Bald's defense and saying that he despised Putin and his war in Ukraine. And sometimes he would say stuff about, I focus more on the people than sometimes the corrupt, messed up governments. And so I would have to say that he probably, going off of those kind of more not underhanded, but more subliminal statements, he was against Putin and the war. So with that, I hope that does address the comments in a way, the question in a way. And with that, we are on to the next one.
And up next, we have a question from Danan, who says, question, how large is the entire area in the south, north of the Dnipro, where the counteroffensive is going on?
How big is that area?
Yes.
So let's get out our measuring tape and let's measure this thing up and see. So once again, this is a rough estimate. We're not exactly sure if this front line is accurate or not. It's been like this for months. And honestly, at this point, it serves this channel well because we're giving no information to the Russians or anyone at all. But this area is around 1,200 square miles large. So that's the area that Ukraine estimated will be fighting over. So with that, I hope that answers the question, and we are now on to the next one.
And next up, we have a question from Shelby N, who says, what is the name of the very first song on stream? My Ukrainian guests are asking.
what's the name of the very first song on the stream?
Yes.
I think it's called "To the Regiment." It's a neat song. As far as we can tell, it is copyright free, which I'm happy to know because we can still play it. So with that, I hope that answers the question. I hope you can pull it up on YouTube and listen to it. It's a really good one. And so with that, we are on to the next one. And thank you once again.
All right, and moving right along, we have a question from Turn Off Your Gaslight, who says, please back up your past videos off of YouTube. They are historically important and represent so much time and effort from you both.
Well, I thank you so much for the kind words, but sadly, we can't back these videos up because they're so large. One of these videos, like this one here, is most likely around 100 gigabytes, and I unfortunately don't have enough space anywhere on my computer or in a cloud software or anything like that to keep it. So if y'all would like to take an initiative upon yourselves, if any of y'all have the ability to, if y'all would like to go through and download all of my live streams and all of the videos I made, please feel free to do so. So that way, if for some reason the channel does get taken down in the future, and I just, I guess disappear because YouTube just screwed me over, at least I'll still be around in a way and hovering around YouTube. So that way, well, not hovering around YouTube, just hovering around in suspended animation. So that way in 30 years or 40, I can be brought back up again. So with that, thank you so much once again for the idea, but sadly it's just not possible. And so with that, we are on to the next one, and thank you once again.
And this looks like it's going to be our last live chat question of the night that I have in the spreadsheet, which is from Sweaty Chungus, who says, Enforcer, do we have any evidence of the copyright strike being of Ukrainian origin, or was it a Russian dude playing a dude disguised as another dude? Either way, glad we're back to help Ukraine. Well, and Sweaty Chungus, that's actually one of the theories that I had. I thought maybe it might be a Russian disguised as a Ukrainian, but there's no way to tell because we have no surefire way of tracking down their identity.
Well, I can't really answer that for certain. We don't really know the answer to that, sadly. But I'm not really sure. I mean, like, the guy could have been a Ukrainian, or he could have been a Russian posing as a Ukrainian. I'm not really sure. But with that, I hope that does answer the question. And we've now answered the last question of the night on the stream. And that rounds out our first stream back. And we actually got a super chat from Will Riley. And I know that we had a cutoff, but I'm going to read it. Mr. Cheney, also Will Riley sent in a $20 super chat, and I got to thank you for that. I want to make sure that we thank you for that. Mr. Cheney would like to welcome you back to the YouTubes. He also would like to apologize for his daughter for hitting on you with the false copyright claims. He tried his best. Sometimes there's nothing you can do as a dad. And I got to thank you so much for the support, Will Riley, and it's good to know that Dick Cheney is still here. Even through all of this, Dick Cheney returns. And so with that, thank you so much once again for the support. And also, no offense taken. It's just that we need those copyright strikes lifted very soon. And so with that, thank you so much once again, Will Riley, for your support. And I hope that does answer the question. We'll address the comment fairly well. And so, now that we have addressed the final super chat and question of the night, I've got to thank you all so much for watching once again. It's been an absolute pleasure to be back on. And it's good to know that everyone cared for us, anticipated our return, and is here still enjoying this news. It's been an absolute honor for me to be here for 191 days covering this news of the war in Ukraine, and I have to thank each and every one of y'all for backing us, backing Ukraine, and everything in between. We're going to continue to try and fight these copyright strikes because they are invalid. They are not filed by the original copyright holders, if there even is a copyright on these videos, which from what we can tell, there's not. And I thank you all so much for constantly supporting us. And we are going to make sure to make the Lee Spring Army proud and continue to cover this news of the war in Ukraine until the very end. I've got to thank every one of y'all, also just incredibly as much as I can, once again. And I want y'all to know that I will be thinking about y'all. And I hope, now I can't promise this, I hope that we'll be able to stream tomorrow. I don't know if if things will change in between today and tomorrow, but right now we can stream. And it's been an absolute pleasure to cover the night's news with y'all. Thank you so much to every one of y'all once again, and I will now leave y'all to listen to the Ukrainian anthem as we close out our return to YouTube on day 191 of the war in Ukraine. Thank you all so much once again, and I hope y'all have a great night.